All right, big kahuna time. Take it.
What up, everybody? Every time Sharif says big kahuna time, I just get hungry because I want a tasty burger. That was the only big kahuna I want is a big kahuna burger. And I feel like the other day you were talking about that.
I mean, I want the Royale with cheese.
Oh,
I want the
Royale with cheese.
That's what I'm
Yeah, that's what I'm down with. Actually, I'm down with anything you
I gotta get.
I want barbecue weather back. That's what we need back. Is like forget about any big kahuna burger or any of that nonsense, man. It was freezing cold this morning. It's a little bit warmer in the office, so I took my sweater off. But it was freezing cold, which means it's not barbecue weather anymore for myself. I know, Sean, you partake all the time because I'm one of those. If it's too cold, I ain't doing it.
We'll probably barbecue.
You eat barbecue. You eat barbecue tonight?
Yeah. Weather. I'm weather indifferent for barbecuing. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, as long as there's not tons of snow, out there. Yeah.
So
that didn't even cross my mind. Like when you just talking about barbecue, I was like, oh yeah, what are we barbecuing?
We can't be talking about burgers.
I didn't know we were going the other way with that.
You can't say burgers and not talk about barbecue. So
no.
Look, obviously, Tesla was barbecuing some longs today, and we're going to talk about the symbols that everyone's interested in a hot minute. I chagrin to say that I am back in SMAR. No, it's SMR. What's the name? New Scale Power Corporation.
Yeah, that's the
See, now,
AAPL.
I'll give this one credit. It stinks because it was a loser today, but it is easily one of the smartest tickers. Ooh, SMR, smart. One of the smartest tickers you can find, right? Because small modular reactors, yada, 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 nuclear. So I'm in this, and I'll give the reason, because after the dump fest that it was on the breakout this morning, it did this candle, which you don't see, I mean, whatever, I guess you see it all the time. But at the low of the day, there's a dump off. I suppose this is going to be one of those bottoming tail candle. And look at the last time it had a candle that nasty. Just go back a few days, it found support. So I'm looking for just like a higher low re-breakout after a bottoming tail candle. If it gets to VWAP, fantastic. It hasn't seen VWAP since 9:36 in the morning. I had to go up and look at it there. So that one wasn't a smart long early, but let's see if it can get back to VWAP as we speak. Market doing its afternoon type thing, trending down, I would say. But SMAR is trying to come back up into VWAP, hopefully.
Not very smart at all. All right, we'll get going here. We're going to go through our little voting situation when Sharif is ready to go. We're short the TQs, so we just talking about the market. You know, we lost here going short early. You guys remember that one? But then all of a sudden this started to fall down. We had 20,000 on our mind. So that's roughly these levels. We had shorted it. Nice, huge move to the downside. Another play right there on the TQQ. So things are working out well for us right now as we continue to hold on to this at the 50 period right now. I don't know. I was getting nervous. I got some more out here. I mean, look at this. It's starting to slope up a little bit. Market's still underneath VWAP, so I think we would, well, not I think, I mean, I'm short, so we do prefer the short. I'll take a little bit more up here at 50, but the stop is, just in case you're watching this, just this break of VWAP. So 69.50, 69.60, let's give it a little bit more room. So a couple pennies above where we are on VWAP, then we're gonna get taken out on that one. And then Nvidia, I mean, we just, again, fell in, took more shares, got some out, held some, now you're right back. Like we're using 121.50. So it breaks it by like a couple pennies. We get a little, I'm doing the same stuff, man, where I'm getting out of like 75% or 50% and then just waiting to see if it holds. And then if it does hold, then I'm taking that same level back. So same thing happened there. Same thing happened here. Here we didn't have to punch out, so it was all good. But there we did have to get out and then get right back in. So yeah, man, I mean, this is $1.55 in the money right now. And we're cruising on that. So yeah, a good little out there on the TQs, one short, one long. You never really want to be long the market in this situation, long Nvidia and short the market. But look what's happening. We're kind of barcoding both situations. Had an opportunity to pick up some TQs down there. Had an opportunity to pick up Nvidia with those lows. So yeah, just opportunistic trading here into the close.
Purpose. Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everybody, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean are locked and loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you, so make sure to join us during the midday show and get into the chat. It's a subs-only chat, so you got to subscribe and vote for your favorite tickers every day, but only the top 5 make it on, guys. So make sure to persuade your friends in the chat. Here is a look at the future. All 4 indices, guys, in negative territory, with the Russell taking it the worst today, down over 1%. Last time I checked, the NQ and the ES faring a little bit better. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we trade below that 20,000 point level on the NQ. Tesla, the first one on the day, and despite the Morgan Stanley reiterating their overweight rating and maintaining that $310 price target on Tesla, it has been the worst performing Mag 7 name of the day. Maybe it's this headline. They were called about 27,000 Cybertruck vehicles over a rear view camera delay. Not a good look, guys.
No, but I mean, look, I don't think it's that headline. Yesterday,
camera,
you get those, they do a software update and everything is usually fine after the fact. And that's what you hear from most of the Tesla owners. That said, it's the reaction to the deliveries that matters here. Whether it was good, bad, in between, indifferent, depending on whichever analyst you happen to believe. Some said that it was a slight beat and some said that it was a slight miss on deliveries. The result was pretty obvious. There wasn't a green candle until it got to the 241 level yesterday. And then if you look at where, it's hard to tell on the 15-minute, but I'm going to use the 15-minute because I think that's very constructive today. 250 early in the morning, right at the open, that was a level. And then in the afternoon, that was a level. So today, I was like, okay, well, what worked yesterday? And if Tesla 250 was your best trade all day long, you want to go back to it. So when I was doing the lesson of the day, like I was talking about how to grade your trading, this was the easiest grade of all. Didn't take it, grade F. And now it's at the lows. I think it's on a collision course with, oops, wrong way. I think it's on a collision course with this 235. So remember on the way up that you had this resistance at 235, and that's where we got the consolidation breakaway. So the logic would tell me that we're probably on the hunt for this 235 on the way back in. And if that doesn't hold, well, at least you've got the 50 period moving average at 222. If we get to the 200 period before the robotaxi event, that will be very extreme. I think you get there after, but getting there before would be extreme. I think the 35, we're probably testing that before we get the end of this week. As a matter of fact, being at 35 level, I tend to think it's pretty likely, and we just need to be short into it.
Yeah, so we same note there. Today we wrote down Tesla 250. It's right here. It's on the sticky note. It's great, but unfortunately, it was happening. Like I was at 75s. We would have got to fill. We were even talking about that. I was like, let me cancel. It's because we were long Nvidia on the breakout. We were long something else, but we missed that trade up there at 250. That's okay. There's always another trade around the corner, and we probably should have had that. So we've been getting some more out. We're still holding on to Nvidia, $1.70 in the money. Let's go talk about Nvidia. I mean, I don't have, as far as Tesla guys, like Neil just went over all the levels. I don't know. I think we do dip back in here. I think the robo-taxi event is a sell of the event anyways. I don't really see like why everyone would be like, oh my God, I got to go buy the stock. Like what are they exactly going to announce? I'm waiting for that cheaper model to come through. Maybe there's some talk about that at the event. So I think, Waymo already exists. Like this robotaxi thing, I think is great for the stock. I think it's great for long term, but it's already baked in.
Everybody's already long into it.
Come on, man. The bun's already in the oven over here. I mean, like it can actually be
talking about food again.
Oh, it's more than half baked, my friend. But at the end of the day, it's a story that just gives people a reason to sell. And yesterday's miss on the deliveries, I guess, sends this name more downside.
To that point, I actually think I'm pretty convinced you're not going to see anything. If you get anything on the cheaper model, the earnings are in a week. Like I kind of feel like they just have to knock it out of the park with the robotaxi, because anything that you want other than that is going to have to wait a week. I think everyone's long going into this, but I think we can hold on to some support possibly, at least for a week or two, to get us to the 10th.
What does knocking it out on robotaxi mean?
Screw up.
But how?
I want them to not.
I mean, imagine.
No, you don't screw up the demonstration. That's what I. My fear is
the guy hails a cab and it just runs him over or something. I don't understand.
Dude, if it goes wrong, we're screwed.
Yeah, well, it's not. I mean, yeah.
Don't mess up. That's all I'm saying. Don't have a Cybertruck kind of event. There's some cool stuff they can already do with the recall and now responding. Like when you do, like, say you're at a grocery store and you do the recall, it comes to pick you up.
Yeah.
Where it responds to people walking around and. Yeah, just
It
show
has all
off.
that.
Yeah, show off some things that are better than that you already have, and don't have it hit anybody.
So I think they could also do an app. Like I think if he debuts an app that looks very
cool.
similar to Uber and where people are comfortable with it, I think that could be something too. So yeah, no, there's lots of catalysts. I just was like, we're losing like billions and billions of dollars like every day in this company. Here down another 4% today. So I think there's obviously some deeper worries that we might have topped out near 260. So okay, let's go back over Sharif. Next on the board, a stock that I mean I've heard of it, but.
Yeah, a couple of people heard of it, Sean. NVDA next on the list over here, guys. Good day for Nvidia today, 3.5%, the best performing Mag 7 name on the day. Likely because of this, Joe Biden basically looking to exempt some U.S. chip makers from the environmental impact assessment that could add years and billions of dollars onto the cost of already very costly foundry build out. And we know that the U.S. wants to nearshore, onshore a lot of the chip manufacturing capabilities. So looking to make an exception here, guys. The market likes it.
Yes, they do. So there was an Nvidia specific. It's not really a story. It was Jensen was just talking about AI applications in industry, right? So if you looked at it, and what's crazy about it is that he was on another program like right after we ended the aftermarket show. So had we stayed on for like 5 minutes, we could have probably just mentioned this to you guys. And I just come to the chart because you can see here like what happened overnight on Nvidia. It wasn't necessarily that chip story, but like right at 4:35, Jensen was talking up. And I think it's a good thing. You know, I feel like the next step in AI, I mean, Deere, Caterpillar, like what you're going to be able to automate in industry is going to be big, right? Especially for infrastructure. But yeah, that was that pop, and then Nvidia essentially just held on to that pop. The breakout through that local high at 122.50 was, you know, that was the really good level. It was a bit of a mess after the fact. I wasn't happy with my trading on the way back into it. The break was the only one that was good. I will admit to pivoting over to AMD on a break of trend back through like 136.5. That stalled out at $1. So I'm looking at this, and all of a sudden, when AMD was leading, I now believe AMD, while up 1.74%, is a sell. So you know, when you look at the trend on Nvidia sort of continuing through, AMD had that big move early. It's been putting in lower highs. It's underneath the morning range, and I feel like this one is a sell back into the 163 if we're not going to get the 20,000. So a lot to look at today, and AMD was strong early, but the King's back in charge.
Yeah, we just keep on doing the same sort of stuff here that we're going on with. I mean, Nvidia, I just think you buy the dips, man. We had our biggest trade here off the morning. Wish we would have just kind of stopped trading it for a minute because it came back in. We just had to be a little bit more patient with it. But still, I mean, the story kind of remains the same thing here. Nvidia dip buy opportunities into sort of past support, keeps on holding. Eventually, it breaks lower and you get absolutely smoked. So you have to always punch out. That's basically what I've been doing, is punching out and reloading, punching out and reloading. So, you know, we should be up a lot more than we are, but at the end of the day, we're long and we're $1.70 in the money. So I feel like we're fine. But we'll keep letting it go. I only have 10% left. We're at these highs, 123.30. Makes sense to get some out here if you are interested. I'm going to see if we can take out the highs as this market right now under VWAP. But hey, Nvidia is still strong. If the market turns around, I think we're long the right ones.
A deal between SMCI, Supermicrocomputer, and Fujitsu. Look at this. So they're looking at making an AI-powered server together. So Supermicro has entered into a long-term strategic partnership with Fujitsu Limited to develop and market a platform that will feature its future ARM-based Fujitsu Monica processor. I like that. So it looks like the market, I don't know, guys, you tell me, but it looks like the market reacted positively to that initially with that big spike up, and then I think we're basically moving all the way down into area lows.
I'm not a chartered market technician.
You're not?
I'm not.
Okay.
However, I feel like if you can, when you look at a candle and you don't have to know what the name of the candle is or whatever, like the 5 different names that you're supposed to have it, but it's obvious what it means when you look at it, that's good enough. And what a candle like this means on a daily, now I understand the day is not over, something miraculous can happen in Supermicro to make this not a rejection above 42.5. So yesterday, I believe it was, it could have been 2 days ago, it doesn't really matter, whether it was on the day of the I guess now trading after the split, the first day after, or the second day after, the third day after, you've been rejecting above 42.50. You can see these topping tail candles and the wicks that completely reject at previous support into now resistance, and right back underneath 42.5, which was formerly $425. That was a key one. So what goes up must come down. There's your rejection in the prior highs on the daily, and now you are trending back down in. So this is similar to AMD in that early on, there was a host of names in the chip space that were incredibly strong, and now they are dogs. But this one has been doing that pattern for a while. I think on any pops today, well, this afternoon, back into 42.5, I feel like SMCI is a short. So it's barely red, but it was a huge runner. Goes 42 to 44, right back down to 42. If it cannot get back at least solidly green, I think it's a pop and fade. And the daily chart's not lying to you. The buyers are evaporating on SMCI. I feel like there's still some hangover with all of the negative press that they've had back to back to back to back, despite the split, despite being added to SP 500, despite the split. There's just too much negativity here, and they're selling it every time it pops.
All right. I'm just confirming some Oasis tickets. So
locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded, but it's too. They're
favorite song.
It's $2,000. I still like Champagne Supernova. I like Don't Look Back in Anger.
That's the one right there.
Kind of jams.
Right? I jacked Zane, our good friend from.
You jacked Zane, okay? Yeah.
No, I jacked his. He had a Oasis CD. I was never really that into rock music. I was like, yo, well, let me see what these guys are about. So it was like, lend me that CD. And we're in high school, and we ended up being roommates at university for a couple of years. And I remember giving him back that CD, like at some point when we had already owned, when we had our trading floor. And he's like, yo, you still got that CD? I'm like, I got it around there somewhere. You want it back? Now that no one's even using CDs anymore, like 10 years later, because that's how I roll. I get my money's worth. I'm just saying, you got to ask for it back. I mean, you lent it to me. You got to ask me for that CD.
You should be asking for it to you back. Yeah, I agree. All right, I'm almost done.
Keeps it real.
Almost done. I got to confirm some stuff over here. Back over to Sharif.
Clover Health, Sean, been trading this one on the midday the past couple of days. Yeah, that's the chart. It's quite, it looks bullish. I don't know how you guys feel about this one. Couple of reasons. So Clover reported that the SEC concluded their investigation into whatever they were investigating. Not going to bother reading this story. I already read it to you yesterday. There's also this little tidbit from Benzinga with respect to the short float. It looks as if the short float has risen 28.5% since their last report. They say about 26 million shares or thereabouts are actually borrowed for short, which is 6.42% of the overall float. We saw earlier today that they did have a bit of a larger short float, guys, but good day for Clover today and yesterday.
Clover did some bamboozling today. I'm not complaining. There was one good opportunity. Well, okay, fine. There was probably plenty of good opportunities for people along Clover. It just wasn't the way it was yesterday. So it looked like it was going to do that crazy, let's just trend for the whole day like this. Way to go, Clover. Like, that was unbelievable. I can't remember, and I'll go to the 15-minute because it looks even better on, trust me. It's the best 15-minute chart in a single day that I have seen in probably a couple of years. But today was a different story. It didn't do the same thing. It started like it was going into the same kind of move, and then by the time I got over to it, it was on this candle, like this little bit of a test, break the high, dip buy in. I'm like, let's join it. We joined the move, played it into the high of the day. Then it did this ridiculous candle that got me out. Like, okay, well, that wasn't bad, but it's not doing what it did yesterday. I'm just going to back off. Then look what happened. That same place where it dipped into at VWAP at 380, it does another you-know-what candle. The old, I don't know, we'll call it the Sharif bamboozlement candle because that's what he says. The Huadunk. And it's just right back to the upside. So there's buyers on Clover. And the good news is the same highs in play. It was a 4 break that failed at 403. I mean, I don't remember seeing 03's print, but 02's definitely printed, and the candle says that 03's print. But if you look at this on the daily, you've just cleared out big levels on the daily. You're consolidating off of the highs. You've managed to rinse people 2 or 3 times out of this. So you probably relieved some weaker hands as day traders, which happens, and usually if you're one of them, then you really believe that. And now you got a triple top breakout. And this is what we mean about the 15-minute chart yesterday. There's this one candle red right at 9:30, and then it was just a sea of green, and then one candle red at 3:45. As I said, that is the best looking 15-minute on a single day in terms of trend. I can't remember seeing anything like that. So go Clover. However, you need to break the high. The high is 403. It's at 399 right now. Unless this does some kind of a dip to get you into another trade, it's just about waiting for the breakout.
I was looking at Clover the other day as well, and I mean, it's, the move just happened, but there's that break of 384, exactly what Neil was saying. I mean, I really like when stocks break out. And I was in this stock, and I actually got out of this around this 330 area right there, and we thought we were pretty smart as it fell back in. But there it is, man. Nice move out. And it actually looks really healthy. 50-period moving average hasn't been breached and really even tested really since May. So, I mean, yeah, it came back in. It was riding it, tested it again, ride that pony right there, 280 again, all the way to the downside, then all the way back up and breaking today. Yeah, man, healthy stock. I like this. I like the look of this one. Wish we sort of had noticed it before, but baselining down here, 250, boom goes the dynamite. It's a nice move up there. So there it is. So we are now going to this concert. Should be going. These guys looking old right here, but it should be.
I think they look pretty good for what they must.
Do they?
Must be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I was, if
they're the rock stars.
When I get to that age in a couple of years, we'll look like that. But yeah, for rock stars, yeah, you're right.
Gallagher.
I think they're probably late 50s. Is that how old they are? Maybe mid 50s.
Of course, I can't spell Gallagher.
Just say Oasis age, man.
I know.
Noel and Liam Gallagher. Just by Gall. Come on.
Yeah, 57. Noel's 57.
Mid-50s.
And Liam, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I think he's younger.
I think they look pretty good.
Liam is younger. They look okay. Compared to us, they look great.
We're not that old. I'm just saying, we're not. Look, we're not that old. I'm not gonna say we're not that old. Let's talk about.
We're not that old.
Yeah, you damn right. We're not that old. No. Let's go to Apple. Apparently.
Apple, Neil. Not a good look right now. Not a little bit off the lows, but still down 1.25%. Not a good look. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, obviously offloading several 100,000 shares, about 220,000 shares worth. Other executives as well offloading. I should tell you that in 2027 and 2029, he can vest possibly another 220,000 shares, really depending on the company performance. Also, this came in, not really helping Apple today, obviously, but Bank of America Securities reiterating their buy rating on Apple, and maintaining that same $250 price target.
Been insane. We are
food Apple.
The TQs here just did a little bit of a dippy. As my daughter says, she likes the eggs with the dippy. Like she can obviously speak English perfectly fine. It's I know. It's just funny the way she calls it.
Does she order it that way too?
Yeah, man. She orders that. She gets the that's what she gets. So she'll get avocado toast, or she'll get just sunny side up. Basically, is
you know what I always forget? My favorite thing that we make for Erin that she loves. What's the thing where you
poached
in the middle of the toast?
Oh, like
so like you have the toast, you cut out the hole.
Toad in a hole.
Toad in a hole. Is that what it's called?
You put the egg in there. Yeah. Dippy eggs. Jam. Yeah. And then my son just gets straight scrambled, like whatever meat is available plus scrambled eggs.
Classic.
Yeah, the classic breakfast. What do you normally get? Are you just a classic guy?
Oh, I'm like over easy.
Over easy.
Yeah,
that's pretty easy. Yeah. No, me too. I'd be over easy if anything else. I used to be over hard. I like poached medium. Just poach. I never poach at home, so. I don't know. Are we talking about a stock here?
No, okay, we're supposed to. Okay, just one thing. Before I get to Apple, there was just a small there was just a push down. So I'm in Intel, you would have seen it, and then small SMR. We're in SMR, but there was just a bid off of 2210. So it's a higher low. There's really obvious support here, 22 even, 2210, and then it's like a short in front of 2220. So like every 10 pennies on Intel, basically, which is really simple. Apple is still reeling. Reeling's maybe the wrong word. I'm going to get rid of this trend line because I don't need it anymore. But I did have one long trade on a false break at the bottom and then back up, and then we got out break even, so there was no carry through to VWAP on Apple. But we're still reeling on Apple from those demand concerns. The good news is support is here, everybody. You're not happy that we got there from the prior high, but the 50-period moving average, if the 200 gets here, we're screwed. $222 and change. There was resistance here. Now it looks like you're finding some support on Apple in front of it. So yesterday, you bottomed out before we could get there. was another annoying one because 223 came in. You see where the 50 period is on the daily. It's like one push a little bit closer, like underneath 223. Just wanted it to be underneath 223, get a false break and get the push back up. It decided, no, we're not going to false break. We're just going to bounce exactly off the even dollar. And you saw the rest of what happened to Apple yesterday. So sometimes when you're going counter trend, you want it to do the break of the low, trap people short, and then the recovery trade. Apple has that 23 and the 22 level underneath it that I think it can find some support. Until then, this afternoon, I think it's got its own range. 224.5, that's going to be a resistance. We pop back up there. I'd look for a little bit of a short. We can forget about that supply zone at 227. You barely had a chance to short over the 227 after the nonsense we saw for the last 3.5 hours of the day. Actually, it was the last 4 hours of the day on Apple, where it just could not go anywhere off that 27 level. Would have been an obvious short if it got above it, though.
Okay. Yeah. So for Apple, we were looking at this. You know, we had it the other day when that news came out, and we were talking about shorting that 230 level that just broke, and it just kept on going down the rest of the day. Well, I mean, I'm a little bit scared right now because you are breaking lower than where we had been previously. So, yeah, a little bit of a pause for concern now, staying underneath, worse than the market. The NASDAQ, although NASDAQ is down 0.4 or so, this seems to be down a lot more and getting worse. So I feel like you just made 52-week highs. I mean, I know it was 237, but close enough in here at around 233 and change. So yeah, this is a little nervous for me, holding on to some Apple shares, and I think everyone deserves to be just a little bit nervous. We know Berkshire's got out of it. A lot of majority, I don't know about majority of it. I actually have to find out how many shares still holding, but did sell a stake there. And you know, there's the cream will continue to rise to the top, but the risk really at the end of the day is the same. Are they going to meet or exceed analyst expectations on this iPhone 16? So, I mean, that's what it's going to be. We have earnings right around the corner now, but I think it's a month and a half away or so. So, you know, a couple more weeks of trading into this. I mean, the NASDAQ underneath 20,000 is not great. So it's going to be hard for me to sit here and be like, yo, I really like Apple here, because I don't. You know, it's at the 50-period moving average. I think there's a chance it drops lower. And I think you can get this name at I don't know. I mean, the very bottom is 214, 215. Yeah, wake up.
So
can't believe the way that thing looks. And then anyways, down here. So I think 216, 217, definitely something. I see Raider traders in our chat already over here.
that's what I'm talking about. Raider in the house. He's going to be there in a hot second.
You better get ready.
So I'm just, you were asking how much did Berkshire sell? So, you know, Berkshire reportedly sold, you know, just over 50% of its holdings during the last quarter of 2024. This was due to Apple stock making up an outsized portion of Berkshire's portfolio, leading to a reduction in its stake. At its peak, Apple represented about 50% of Berkshire's portfolio, but after the sale, the stake is now valued at approximately $84 billion, which accounts for about 30% of the portfolio. And if you can't tell, I just asked ChatGPT, and that is the answer that it gave me. So that is, I mean, that sounds right.
Yep.
It was just over 50% of their stake, and yada, yada, yada. So there you go. I mean, obviously.
Did you use Gemini, though, Sharif was asking? Oh, big boo from Sharif.
No, you know what's funny? I did. I put it into Copilot as well, just to see if we'd get a different answer. Every now and then, if I'm going to ask a question to ChatGPT and I have another one open, I'll just see if it literally gave the same answer. However, I would grade it at, yeah, like the difference was Copilot gave a number of shares. Like Berkshire held 789 million shares, and that was reduced to about 400 million, whereas ChatGPT kept it to the percentages.
Right.
Like, I don't particularly care. I think it was cool that Copilot decided to say the number of shares in there. Whatever, it's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, more in not thinking it's a value. I don't know, like there's some concern there, I'd say. Like, it's got to do something with all that cash, though.
SMR is down 6%.
Burn a hole in your... Oh, SMR. Look, man, SMR is going to stink. SMR just ran into another brick wall here just before we go to Raider. Is Andrew here yet? And he's in the chat, but
yeah, it's not his time yet. It's not his
okay,
time.
So we're not ready just yet. I didn't know exactly.
You can wait and check his Gmail.
If Ramin says check your Gmail, Andrew, or we can put that in the chat. No, SMR has run into a bit of a wall here at 1165. So you can sort of see there's your bottoming tail candle, kind of consolidated. tried to break out through that 50 zone. You can see it barely broke, then pulled back in, got some shares at 48.5, and now it's just slowly grinding higher. If it gets to VWAP, it's going to need a strong push. I'm going to offer in the 60s here because it's now falling asleep. When you do a bottoming tail candle like this, I mean, generally speaking, usually you want it to slingshot to the upside. Kind of like, I mean, like what Clover did, I think would look a lot better. Clover being, I always think it's on the New York, not the NASDAQ. No, what Clover did with that kind of a candle is what you really want to see. Like an immediate retake and then just flash higher and then resume the trend. You can resume the trend slowly, but you want the initial reaction maybe to be a little bit stronger. So Clover still have the breakout order above the high of the day. It hasn't broken the high of the day, so we will not be taking a trade in Clover until it either dips into VWAP or breaks out the top.
All right. I was looking at Starbucks underneath 96 and underneath VWAP and looking to go lower. We are already short. Like we're short the TQQs. We have 10% of Nvidia left, and I was going to use a VWAP break of that. Let's just give it all the way down to here. It would suck to have missed, that 50 cents of upside, but maybe we'll just play this. Yeah, 122.50. Okay. So this was 121.34 or so was my stop. So we had about a 15-cent worth of stop here. We're $1.15 in the money. So this is about 8 or 9 to 1. It was more than that at one point. So we're pretty happy with it. Whether or not we got it at the top, we talked about this right when we came back live, was that we are well aware of the move in Nvidia and that it was right at those tops. And I was just saying, if the market chooses the right direction for me, which would have been long, that time, then Nvidia definitely would have broke out. Of course, as we hold the TQQs, I don't mind what's happening right now, but we should put on this out. So let's go 47s or so. If we break lower, we gone on that one, but we're making it go down. The market's going down here. Nice little play back in for the futures. As again, this will be. Now, my number one stock will be Nvidia, but this will take over. My number two stock will be Palantir. But the futures are here, and we lost early on it. We wanted to try this level. First time that was 20,000, basically 20,000 flat. It failed early there on the futures. So here's 20,000. Here's where we tried the short. Boom, we got stopped out. So that's this trade right here. That's the 20,000 level. That's the stop out. But then it comes back in. This time, we play it with momentum down. That's our best trade. The break of 20,000 downside. That's the trade. Every time you're battling, when it comes back up, you have to be a little more frugal with your outs. So we did do that. So, it's all right. We'll hold on to this and see what's going on down here. Next out for me, let's not get too greedy. If we can get these wicks down here, that'll be about... this will be about 70 handles or so if we can get this out. So that's fine. We're about 40 handles in the money now. So let's put a bid out down there and see if we can get it. $68,000 or $68.75. Let's go put a bid down there, and then we'll wait for that to happen. Still long Nvidia with the stop out. Oh, man. We're just going to talk about Starbucks. Then I just went over to Nvidia for some reason. So there's Starbucks underneath VWAP, right? Down 0.8. Already a negative stock. My main guy, Raider Trader, will recognize and remember that I picked Starbucks. He picked XLE. We were lucky to get that Brian Nickel move. But of course, Starbucks 72 to 96. Not horrible there. As hey, I still like the energy space. I think XLE, we've been buying it. I like the name. There's been ups and downs all over the place. And then, of course, with the turbulence now, who knows where oil's going. But just quickly on Starbucks, downside, 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 keeps on hitting here. There's VWAP, there's VWAP, there's VWAP. I do want to get Andrew's thoughts there on XLE when he comes back, so or comes on. So there's Starbucks. This could be a good fade too, 95.75 SBUX.
Perfect transition. Every time when you said Starbucks, I was like, oh, I traded Nike today. I'm going to go over Nike.
Good.
And I was pulling it up, and then complete coincidence, Hayden Griffith in the chat just sent us a super chat and asking about Nike. Which I promise you, I'm not making this up. I was going to talk about Nike next already. So thank you for the super chat. We'll hit the like on that one. It's defended 82 a couple of times, but looks weak overall. I agree. I was short this. I mean, like, in complete hindsight, I could argue that I could still be short. I did get out of it break even because of the bounce off of 82, and I'll get into why. So it was consolidating underneath the low. So there's the morning low. There's the consolidation underneath. There's the break. So I shorted it into that low. It held on to 82, put in a higher low. It's kind of stopped it out, break even. But look at it now hold underneath that level. I tend to agree it's weak. The thing to keep in mind is if you look at the bottom right in here yesterday after the earnings, it was like 81.70. So you do have a bottom on the daily as well as that 50, like right in here. Like your bottom on the daily would be this trend line, which you don't need because the 50 period is right there at $80 as well. But also yesterday's low at that 81.70. So I think it's more of a little scalp short at 82 and a quarter. But I worry about that 82 holding and the 81.70. You have to understand those are going to be reasonable targets just based on how far Nike has already fallen. But it's time.
Oh, it's time.
Mr. Raider is in the building. Andrew with us. He was already in the chat, and now we get to ask him
Hit the Trader
about...
Talk. Where's the Trader Talk thing?
I don't have the Trader.
There we go.
Andrew Raider.
The market makers tried to interfere today, but unfortunately, we prevail. So,
As opposed to what, though? That's what they do. That's all they do.
that's all they do.
Collecting those fees.
They got to get paid, man. Market makers got to eat too, Andrew.
Hey, you got like a family photo today or something? You're looking very handsome there with your hair and everything. You got your little...
Listen. I thought, today was a good day to spice things up. So we are going to start labeling this this segment of Trader TV is now Trader TV.
Right. I like that. It's funny because you just put a T. Oh, so you just put a T in front of your last name there. Then you get the...
It's a lowercase t, all capital Raider. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
We'll just get... Excuse me, get our legal department on this almost immediately. But thank you for... No, we're just playing around. Thank you.
I think that's
hilarious.
I don't know.
We really like that. Thank you for continuing to come on, man, by the way. It's been really appreciated. I just saw you just dropped a video talking about October being a hard month to trade. We've already seen, I actually went over some stats the other day. October's been a pretty profitable month, percentage-wise, in the S&P 500. Why do we think it's going to be tough? Why has it been tough? And what are some of the indicators there for you leading towards this opinion?
Sure. So if you want to share my screen here, this is actually the Trader TV Live presentation that I'm just going to be doing. It's very brief, very short, but I think is going to be a great way I can convey data to you guys in a very efficient fashion. So this right here is my seasonal chart. So this is where we are kind of in right now. Seasonals, of course, I talk about it all the time when I come on. They're super important.
Just the next one. I'm not even...
We just exited one of the most important seasonal periods of the year, which was the September seasonals, which are typically bearish. Now that we're coming into October, market dynamics are changing, and this is going to be a tough month for a lot of traders. October brings a lot of pain, both for the bulls and the bears, with the intent of shaking as many positions out as possible to create a healthier move into November. So with that said, just common structures, you expect some double top, some range-bound move last October or of 2023's, 2022's looked very similar to this. You saw a low, you saw a pop off that low, very aggressive, nasty reversals, but ultimately a bigger reversal to the upside. With that being said, there's actually some development in the options market.
Here we go.
Some new put walls were just put on recently. And these put walls are going to cause a lot of buying pressure, but it is going to result in nasty reversals as well. So we're going to see that, but that's something that's that. Now, I do want to talk about a few different ideas throughout this segment, but I'm not going to just yap the entire time because we all know I have a PhD in yapping. Unfortunately, Sean and Neil, they just have a master's, but I just graduated last week from that. So...
Hey, you know what I wanted to ask you about just quickly because this is all about information and training. I just want to talk about, we don't talk about put walls that often here because we just started actually a new midday show with our guy Joe. Maybe you'll come on one day and they talk about options all the time. Can you just explain what you mean by put wall for our viewers maybe looking to take advantage of some of this information?
Sure. So really dummy version. You guys are not dumb. You are all smart. But the dummy down version is that put walls are a high level. Same with call walls. Put walls are a high level of open interest with a lot of money stacked onto it. And these abnormal amounts of open interest can be cause liquidity levels because they're assumed shares. They assume there's going to be some sort of obligation off of that zone because options, the right to buy, sell 100 contracts. Now, why are puts support? It doesn't quite make sense. You might look up on the internet, you go, well, wait a minute, market makers short shares to hedge puts. So how is it support? Well, it's because when you do go into a put wall, the market maker is going to become very, very short. And if there's ever a pop underneath or off of that put wall, what it does is it crushes volatility, decreases premiums, thus meaning the market maker needs less of a hedge. Remember, his hedge is shorting. So how does he exit and get less hedges? He buys back the shares. So that's why you see often put walls be very, very aggressive support levels.
Good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Fantastic explanation. You know what? I'm going to put it out there because I think you do really well at a conversation between you and Joseph. And what we always appreciate you doing here is being willing to just fully explain your ideas on the fly. I know you want to talk some shop here and some trades and some ideas, but we appreciate you going through that because the truth is we have different, like everybody's at a different level in trading. We've had people that'll ask us the basics and others that'll have really complex questions. I love that you're able to go through all that. I'm just curious on, usually, as you said, historically, October is what it is. However, in the last couple of days, there's been a heck of a lot moving around when it comes to energy. And, you know, when you have events which start to create trends on their own, does that change your, like, I mean, I'm sure it does, but like, does that change your outlook? Because I'm looking at XLE, which is breaking out. I'm like, I don't care what the market's supposed to be doing right now. You know, this is breaking a downtrend. And the writing's on the wall in front here. And I feel like, you know, sometimes you got to be able to quickly pivot when it was Tesla for the deliveries or whether it's here with energy and what's happening. Where are you at? Because I know you like some XLE. That's breaking out in a big way right now, I think.
Yeah. So last time, I think I mentioned energy. That was getting into it. My favorite was CVX and XLE. We mentioned that as well. XLE is actually doing the better one, better performance. But it is certainly something that you need to watch. From 920, which was the last quad witching. For you newer folks, if you don't know what quad witching is, quad witching was when trillions of dollars in derivatives, options, futures, they all expire on the same day. This lifts trillions of dollars off the market, and it slowly starts to trickle back down into the markets over the next few months. We were looking for the new regimes. There's always empires that form in the market. You guys heard of AI a few months ago, year ago. Then it became semiconductors. Then it's mega caps at one point. So you have to understand these new regimes form after these quad witchings that markets start to favor, hey, you know what? I just made a bunch off semiconductors. I no longer want to reallocate my assets into semiconductors. I'm up 3,000%. So I'm going to go and trickle them down into different sectors according to what we believe the projections of the economy is, market, whatever. So energy is going to remain bullish. There is an all-time high target, I think at 101.50, somewhere around there, that I do see energy getting to by the end of the year, most likely into early next year. So that's kind of my target with energy.
No, I absolutely love that. Just only because I mentioned this. I mean, can we show my chart for just a quick second? Because you know, you've already had that turn, so clearly, you know, XLE is obviously working. There's no question about that. When you talk about those hundreds, you could zoom out and sort of see this top. But you are like today, you're going to make the close clearly above trend. I don't see necessarily a reason why that's not going to happen here today. So I could feel like even if you're late to this move, a bit of a consolidation can certainly take you higher. And that's the best thing about a trend is you don't always have to be super early going back into this. So when you talk about, so just out of curiosity, because when you mentioned the rotation in there, great. I mean, congratulations on the XLE trade, no doubt about it. Do you ever look the other way? Like, do you ever sort of play the, okay, well, if we're getting rotation out of things, easy to say, let's go along in the stuff that's being rotated in. Do you ever dabble, maybe taking some shorts, buying some puts to go into where you think in tech that people might be rolling away from?
Yeah, so certainly one of the biggest things, one of the last regimes or empires that we've talked about, I've talked about it a few times over the last few weeks, coming on, whatever, is defensives. I've talked about XLP, XLU, real estate, being bullish on those. However, now that we're out of this bearish September period, you're likely to not see that defensive side be favored as much. So what I'm actually going to be focusing a lot on is my shorting will remain within defensive names. I mean, we even saw today XLP breaking down very heavily, PG, Costco, Coca-Cola. These names are all getting pulled out of. People are saying, look, you'd expect dividend names to do well, but they're not likely to see any more bullish continuation until later on into the rate cut cycle. So I would remain short in those names. Do I feel like swinging them? Probably not. But day trading, certainly low breaks, things like that have worked very well, especially on XLP, Coca-Cola today for sure.
Yeah, I can tell you I own Procter in my long-term holding. No, I don't really, it's just, I never actually sell it, let's be real. It's just one of the things that I'll buy every now and then and you kind of hold forever in the portfolio. But I can tell you, it just made a technical break. It lost the 50 period. It lost an obvious support level at 170. It's in a downward trend. I don't know obviously where the bottom's going to be, but I'm going to do the thing that for myself, I'm going to do the thing I always do on it. If I think it's in a downward trend, when it gets to the 200, that's generally been the place to buy. And I feel like when a stock does that, maybe you can trend down into it. So I like that look. I love the names that you were sort of mentioning there out of that rotation. And you can play both directions. Like some people prefer to go long, some people prefer to go short. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. I have to admit, I'm liking the, like it feels like, not to get off stocks for a second, you go to one of those all-white parties? What's going on here? Like the all-white cruise is happening?
Hey, we got the black Mustang, the white T-shirt, white headphones, white guy, white trader, So I don't know, we might be onto something, but no, I didn't plan any of this, honestly. Yeah. But
you're keeping it clean. That's all I'm saying. Like I know they have those parties. Those parties can be hot. Not that I'm too old for any of that nonsense.
Just in case I'm on live call and I get a little stain, something like that, we got a backup, so we're all good. We're all good.
Okay, that's not random.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. There's a story you got to tell us, and that's fine if you don't want to tell us. It's okay. I know there's a story. No one just sits around in the all white and has a pressed white shirt like behind them like that, Andrew. You're prepared for something, but it's fine if you don't want to say.
I am. Hey, there's big announcements coming soon. I've been on some Zoom calls this morning. There's some things cooking up. I can't let it go out all at once.
Okay, my lips are sealed. Mr. Katina, what do you got for him?
No, I was going to say, come on. I called as soon as I saw the guy on here. I said, there's something has to be going on. I mean, people often say that this is my long lost son and everything like that. And so, I know when stuff is up with this guy. All right, Andrew, look, October 11th, not only is it going to be a special day for you, I hope, but also it is the beginning of bank earnings season. We start with the big dog. We start with JP Morgan coming through right now. Beautiful chart on the daily, just trying to hold now above $200, above the 200 period moving average. Are you setting anything up as far as maybe some option strategies or any plays that you have heading into bank earnings season? And do you feel some kind of way there about what we expect?
Sean, it's almost like you've been doing this Trader TV thing for a while now, because that's a great segment into my next trade ideas, which is banks and bonds. One of the first ones, of course, being banks. Banks, I believe, personally, will continue to do well in the future. Specifically, this right here, BAC, WFC, JPM, Citigroup. I think some of these names are really going to do well. There is an idea. This is a discount trade. It's an option flow. We saw max pain point today. I would expect continued upside into tomorrow with BAC. Now, what you're going to be wanting to play into earnings is not necessarily the earnings themselves. Play the run-up. We always talk about this, but typically a week, 2 weeks before earnings, you typically do see an earnings run up. And I think continued bullish idea into banks next week into the 11th is going to be an exceptional one. So I actually am really bullish banks into the end of the month. Again, being the October bottom, you're not going to see that suppressive selling pressure on a lot of these sectors. And I think with relative strength in banks right now, I mean, if you just throw up a chart of XLF, this thing has been just choppy near the highs. It's really not responding as ugly as a lot of these other sectors have been to this recent rotation. So certainly banks I'm bullish on.
Yeah, no, I was going to actually ask you, and I have XLF right here up on the screen as well. I was going to ask you what your favorite way to play this might be. You mentioned some BAC bullishness and then maybe some XLF. Are you more prone to these larger banks, or are we going to be looking at any KRE at all?
KRE, not so much. I think KRE is going to be the lagger, just with the rate sensitive names are pretty tough. Of course, regional banks do benefit more from these rate cuts, but we've seen things like Solars, IWM. It just has not seen the right time to play those yet. IWM, of course, struggling a little more than the overall markets. And so I think later in the month, past 10/18, which is the major options expiration, I think that's when you're going to get a lot of momentum into these names into the close of October, which is where you see typically the most buying pressure. So that's what I would save that trade for. Specifically, I would stick with the bigger banks, maybe the smaller ones like BAC, smaller banks, but Bank of America, JPM, Citigroup, even Citadel. These ones I think are going to be the better ones.
Like anything, we talked about conventional energy, of course, with oil, nat gas, the XLE plays, and Chevron, so on and so forth. Today, I traded SMR, so that's going to be, again, new scale. It's going to be, we'll be talking about uranium and some nuclear energies and some different ideas like that. We just had a breakout on the daily for it through $10. If you come over to my my chart right here, breaking through $10. I got carried away today. I thought with Google News, we've been hearing about Microsoft. They all need to power this AI movement. What do you think about any of this? There's also the URA ETF as well, which is a great way to play it. There's Cameco, CCJ. I don't want to give you all the answers here, but do you like anything in uranium? And I actually like SMR. I'm upset that we failed today. I thought we could have continued to go, break that 13, get a little higher, pull back down 6% today. I'm actually thinking about picking some up for a swing here as we continue to talk more AI and how exactly are we going to power this revolution.
Yeah, so certainly materials, energy. There is actually a trade thesis that I'm going to roll with over the next few months. The timing of it is less specific, but the reinflation trade. As we know, inflation is expected to drop, but there's always a bounce in inflation. Historically, even it doesn't just go to zero from its highs. So there is always somewhat of a small bounce. It's just naturally how markets work, and so that reinflation trade will definitely get some more hype into a lot of these. I mean, we're already seeing it. Commodities, CCJ, the miners. FCX, these type of names are all starting to do very, very well. And I think that rotation, while it's mostly complete, you will see another leg later this year into early next year. But specifically also along that kind of material commodity inflation idea is actually bonds. Sorry, I really wanted to mention this trade as well, that I'm actually buying April calls for 2025 on bonds pretty soon. I haven't pulled the trigger quite yet, but TLT is something that I'm going to be looking at. Okay. I believe that the Fed are actually going to start positioning into, favorably. They want to get yields down. TNX, of course, breaking out pretty heavily. They want to get yields down to loosen the restraints on the economy. And I think that's going to be whether a direct focus or a secondary effect. You're going to see somewhat of a buying pressure in TLT. Now, there was some flow. If you want to share my screen real quick, there was some flow, pretty crazy flow. You see this very rarely. A guy spamming puts, very short expiration for the 97.5 strike on TLT. And this is what forms bottoms. One of my biggest trades this year was on gold to all-time highs, and there was a put spammer just like this for March 15th expiration back when gold broke out GLD, and that's what triggered my trade for March 15th, and I was up, I think, 1,500% by the end of it. So this is my biggest trade of the year, both dollar-wise as well as percent-wise. But this behavior is very rare. I look for it, and definitely bullish on TLT if we do see TNX start to fall.
All right, man, a couple great ideas there. We learned a little bit about put walls. We got the new name for the new segment. We talked about some financials. We talked about energy.
Tradertv. See, I don't even have to say it different. It's just, you can't get it's one of those things you see, and now you can't unsee the word Raider and
T-Raider. T-Raider. It's like,
yeah, that's right. Every time you look at Trader TV now, you're going to be reminded that Raider is in the word trader.
Probably not, but I mean, right here we do have.
There you go.
Okay, Sean.
Oh, man, this is good, right? This is good. All right, you know what? Where can we find you? We have it on there. We have the X, Raider Trader 101. We have at Raider Trader as well over there on Instagram. You got anything planned? I know there's some big news potentially happening. Where can people find you? Where is this news going to drop?
Big news is dropping on Trader TV sometime in the future. Ooh. I know we do also have to plan a hangout session where I do come to the Maple Leaf and
for sure.
hang out. So that will be announced here, of course, on Trader TV. But also, you guys can find me on Instagram, whatever. Sean doesn't really tell you all of this that much, but he and I do go to a lot of the white parties. Rolls Royce, Jay-Z. We're.
I actually don't, but that's fine.
No Diddy.
Okay. No Diddy, guys. I'm not going to the.
That was
Diddy
Neil.
party.
That was
I don't
Neil.
See any allegations.
Who said that?
All right,
Who said
so
that?
I've never been to a Diddy party, but the list is growing longer. Let me tell you, sometimes I've been sweating.
It's not good. It's not good.
So
You've been sweating a little. What the hell? Okay, we better cut the segment ASAP here. No, look, thank you so much. We'll be dropping some news here, and whenever you're around, let's go, come through, man. We'll hit up a Raptor game, Leaf game. You tell us what you want to do. It's Raider Trader coming through one more time. Thank you for the segment, and thank you for the creative name. He gone.
What is that?
What are those, cookies?
Oh, word? What kind of cookies is that?
What kind of cookies are those?
It's not even.
All right, get them off.
They're chocolate chip. All right, get them off.
Yeah, just don't waste them. You better eat that. I'm just saying.
She's like, this man better bring
crumble.
that.
They look
Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Just delete me from the screen right now.
Ramin.
Look, see, I already knew I liked the brother.
Mic.
And he's got the cookies locked and loaded, ready to go.
Now we need some cookies.
No, every trade, you need to have snacks around.
There goes the futures.
I'm just saying, because when you get hungry, I'm not even making this up. Like, I literally reach into my bag and I have I got my eat more.
There we go.
Because you don't want to trade.
Eat more, okay.
You don't want to
okay.
trade hangry.
I see the eat more there.
No, I was telling Ramin the other day that I'm trying to get things that are not as bad. So that when someone, whether it's like that kind of bar, just something that kind of fulfills my need to have something kind of sweet and fulfilling. So I'm not getting a chocolate bar or whatever treats Ramin happens to have on her desk that she gracefully shares with me. One point, and thank you to Andrew. Just wanted to make a point about TLT in a general sense. If you look from a technical standpoint, because you can always look at the 20-year like anything else in the way it trades. So it's breaking a bit of a trend line in here, but there's another one to respect. There's going to be a huge convergence, I think, with the 200 period, the trend, the year, not the year-long trend, but the half-year trend back down into the mid 90s. So even from a technical standpoint, this is going to look pretty good if we get another push, even a little bit more of a push to the downside. I did not get any Nike shares. So just while we were talking, I was trying to short Nike on a couple of pops there. I did not get any. But I promised Tisha that when we were done, I would mention EVGO. Go EV. And of course, being a NASDAQ stock, it's not on the New York. It's been going all day long, like the Energizer Bunny. Gap up and go. It bounced not even at VWAP, it was respecting VWAP early. Now you're just bouncing way out in front of it. The daily looks absolutely gorgeous. It's the weekly that I want to go up to here because when you make a 60% move on a stock like this, the chances are you got to go way back into time to find the last time it was trading at these levels, which was in 2023. So it's at this lower high from, it looks like May of 2023. At about 640. You can see that lower high resistance in here. If it busts that out, you got the 200 period that'll chill out at about 7. And if you break, you're already trending into the upside, right? So I would suspect when this goes for a couple of days, or a day or two, it usually is going to have some kind of a bit of a crest now that it's breaking higher. I'd expect you're going to run into some resistance here. The continuation does need to get through. This level here is about $7.80. So it's a good one. It's not a chase for me right now. I feel like it's already made a double top. The volume's still pretty solid. I think if you're trading it this afternoon, you can see what it did at $6 in here, and then a little bit of a dip into 610, holding on to $6. VWAP hasn't really been much of a thing. I think maybe a 610 to 615 would look like a reasonable zone. With power hours starting to loom, maybe you can get something going there. So we're still in Intel, actually reloaded Intel, and I keep wanting to say SMAR, but it's SMR. It's not SMAR, it's SMR. It's still slowly grinding higher. So it just got to the 70s, trying to churn back up into 1180. It's just not a very quick move. After a candle like this, you'd expect a little bit more, but it's just slowly grinding. If it makes one press into 12, I'm going to be getting out rather quickly.
I just have to say, we just got another piece out here on the NASDAQ. Have to just try it. So we got another piece out there at the 50-period moving average. It's a good trade. I mean, I'm just going to hold. I'm tired of just watching these futures go back and forth and not doing anything. So we'll wait for this, man. Apparently the UN is asking, they're asking for a ceasefire, but that's going to be nice. Obviously, we wish for something to get resolved, but man, tough stuff. So the G7, I guess, is what I just heard in my ear from Benzinga Pro, just talking again more about the world and what's been happening over there. So maybe we get a break. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the last couple of days we've just been really short here, especially into the close, favoring, unfortunately, negativity in the world hitting the markets. But that's not really been the case. The NASDAQ has actually done quite well, I think, to hold up a bit. We are near some of those post-Fed levels day after day of in and around that 20,000 marker. So we've been going short on the NASDAQ and everything since 20,000's broke. That's right here. So just over the last little bit, this is the trade. And we've been doing it all day, and the vehicle that I choose, just like Pikachu, I choose you, TQQ, and that's it. So there it is, man. Some nice shorts. This was a really great one that we just put on when we got back from our little walk there. Lost it early, made it late on TQQ. So, Nvidia. So we got out of that one. I'm going to go over to Palantir in a minute. We are out of Palantir. Palantir is a really good stock for me. today, but we are now out. Oh, it's the number 2 stock actually for me, but this is what we've been doing on Nvidia. We just got stopped out on that break of VWAP breaking down below 50 right there. So not a bad play at all for Nvidia. Like I said, got stopped out at 75%, bought it back when we took 50s again, and that's where we were long. So we'll take $1. We'll just hit it. It's $1. So we get out of our last 10% for about $1 exactly, and we'll just move on from there tonight. I don't think there's any big earnings. I'll double check the board. I didn't look before. Well, you can go ahead. I'm just going to call up the board here. Earnings. Yeah, there's nothing. Adair just said there ain't nothing for earnings, but that's okay. We'll be here, and we have Danielle Shea. We are happy and sad at the same time.
I wasn't sure if she'd be on.
Yeah. So tonight, So that's what I'm saying. So we're really happy that she's on. So that's the plus. But she's given us sort of the notice that this will be her last time on until she has the baby.
Which is that's a happy thing too. Exactly. So I think we're happy all around, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Happy and sad. You know, we're on the same page.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so we like that. So we want to say thank you to Danielle for coming on one last time, and she's coming on for all of you. Today was Constellation Brands was the only name today. As you can see today on October 3rd, expected move 3, they got 4. STZ right now, $44 billion market cap. So that's just another play right there coming through. And I did want to have
1/4 of C3, not C3, ChatGPT and OpenAI.
I did want to look at WorkSport here quickly. This is a name that we talked about earlier. Again, a trucking transportation there, name with a new deal today. I just wanted to check back on it to see if there was anything brewing. Again, another name that's right down here near the bottom. We'll check out some PR, but WKSP now out. So we'll figure out.
The note on that one, so it's like 1.3 million shares shorted.
Right.
On WKSP, which has apparently been growing. So sometimes when those get a little bit of a pop, I've seen it before. Like when you break out that 50 with a short flow going along with it, you tend to see a little bit more of a move in there. So look, man, it's 20 million book value on that bad boy. They do have good revenue. So I always want to see that break of the half. And if it's got a short float, I'm looking at that one as well there, Sean.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say another new position. We actually put this on a little bit ago while we had Raider Trader here. There was just something that hit again, and we'll talk about all different kinds of stories here as we see them and as they come through. I'm sure Dara probably would have dropped this, but again, we had Raider. There it is right here, Boeing. So I was just doing this in case it was more of a story, but let me just zoom in here. It's 2 U.S. senators. I don't know, that doesn't say their name here, criticized the Justice Department plea agreement with Boeing. Good. So they're saying they should take action against Boeing executives. So, I mean, I'm just going to play that for what it's worth. I thought maybe some downside movements there for BA, but it has been B. I don't have anything
to say. That stock is BS.
Yeah, it's been like, I was going to say B failed, but yeah, down here, it's not doing anything. So I was going to give this basically up to VWAP. Because if the story was something, I wanted to give it some room just in case. Come on, futures, get on down. Right now, as we stay short on the futures, just a couple about 30, 40, 50 handles in the money. I know there's a big difference there, but I don't know exactly how much we're in. And then that's it right here. So because remember, we are using the TQQ. It's a triple levered and a little bit cheaper. I just find that's easier. Let's just put a bid down here, 150.80. I mean, if we could take 20 cents there for a 20-cent upside take, I feel like that's fine, the 200-period moving average. So let's actually change our stop now. Oh no, that was always my stop. I didn't have to change it. Okay, 151.26 was where I was going to stop out on. So that was always my stop. My bad. I thought we were using VWAP, but we were not. We're using 200. So all right, so that's what we're going to play. It's a news story. It's Boeing. I'm going to play the short. It hasn't been really that great today. If the market continues making moves down, maybe we get lucky and we're short because of the story into a break. So that would be really cool if that were to happen. So let's give ourselves a chance at that. Let's just put a small bid. We'll get out of a quarter of it or so at 80s. Give ourselves a 1 to 1.
Daily chart
might not work. I know it's been for such a major stock. This has been.
It's so bad.
I know I'm in it. I have to look.
I'm in it too. Like obviously, I've complained about Boeing enough, but I had an opportunity to sell it, and I was thinking about it, and I kind of ho-hummed. And it was in like the like for us the RSP, like your retirement account, the one that I barely touch anything with. So I don't usually sell a lot of things that are in there. Like 90% of the stuff in there, I pretty much never sell. Mm-hmm. But I did consider it for Boeing's case. I was going to make a special consideration. Didn't do it. Probably should have. But at this point, all they need is like 1 week or two without bad news and then one good news story, and it'll probably bounce like 25%. There was a question about PayPal. And I want to get to Ari Pages. We'll get to that question in a second, but there was a question about PayPal, which is trading related, because PayPal, while not making the move it did yesterday off of this 76 level, for anyone that did not see what PayPal did in the second half of the day, you've got a support level when this is what happens at it. So PayPal on the daily, not bad. Pretty good look. It did recently fail the $80 level. I'd say pretty distinctly. Like, look at the wick at the 80 resistance, right? So you had a sell zone here, kind of a higher low.
There he is.
The lower high there, 80 on PayPal. And now you're breaking away from this 76 level a couple times. It just broke out 77, which we like, oh my goodness. Andrew Rader, appreciate the super chat. If you come in person to the show for Halloween, chat, should I dress up as Diddy? Definitely not a brand risk and 100% sponsor appropriate. Look, man, you come for Halloween and we're going to have to take it to some kind of bigger level. As for Diddy, Andrew, I don't know if you want to go down that road. I probably will not participate. I mean, like, what am I supposed to come as, Usher? But no, I think we can have a lot of fun. If you come for Halloween, we can do something themed if you want. We appreciate that. we appreciate the super chat in there. We always do something fun here, but no Diddy. No Diddy, my friend.
I mean, thank you, Andrew, for dropping down the super chat. But I really do hope if he comes in person, like on Halloween,
for Halloween,
that's not even that far away.
We'll do it up.
Like, you gotta give me some. I got some family to take care of. I got to make sure I can, get the babysitter, grandma come over, grandpa come over, watch the kids, and we'll go out and we'll do it the right way there, Mr. Raider Trader. So thank you for that super chat. We'll make sure we get Ramin some matcha there. Always. There we go. She likes.
Or we can maybe put it to the shawarma. Non-existent shawarma party.
It could have been.
Yet another Thursday has gone by. And the shawarma party
can you believe it's
not
Thursday?
happened.
I cannot believe. This
during week feels like it's gone fast.
During the fall, I just base whatever day it is on football. So like today, I actually remember because it's Thursday because there's a game tonight where I'm going to have to start. So I have Kyle Pitts in one league and I'm facing him in the other. I'm fine if he goose eggs, but if he blows up, I'm going to be.
You're starting him?
I don't want to. I have Brock Bowers in the other pool, but I just noticed I don't really have anybody else.
He hasn't.
Our
caught a ball yet?
The problem is it's Detroit's bye week, it's Philly's bye week, and it's Tennessee's bye week. So in our pool, I'm playing nobody that has any issues. But my other one, I have Amon Ra, I have Jamison Williams, Saquon for Philly. So there's a couple big fantasy situations. Well, I'm also 6-0 in that pool. But all right, so
you're not.
Here we go. Let's just see what happens here to the downside. So we're still in Boeing. If there's any other names down there, so just all kidding aside, we were talking about JP Morgan coming on October the 11th. So this is an earnings play coming through in a week, basically a week tomorrow. So yeah, we talked about that yesterday. It kicks it off on a Friday. So right now we can wait to see what's going on with JP Morgan. I mean, I know Andrew was pretty bullish on the banks. I can't get there yet. I'd like to see a stronger week next week, come in and around the 50-period moving average. I think you got to buy dips for sure. I mean, I don't think that the bank structure's in any chance a problem. The capitalization that's there now, the reserves that underneath them. I mean, I'm not worried to have like a big, huge crash or anything in the market. But 194, 195 coming into look. I mean, remember when they missed here back in April? It fell quite nicely from this $200 level down into 181. So you lost $20 on that report, and now we're going to figure out if it can do the same thing here, down into 185, 180. I think that's a dip buy opportunity. The other name, as was mentioned, was BAC. So that name could also be an interesting one here if and when it also loads up. Doesn't look as, situationally, not as bad maybe as JP Morgan. But again, I feel like you're just kind of coiling up, looking for a big move in one way or the other. Didn't we hear something? By the way, the market right now, let's go, man. Let's just we're short. We're short the NASDAQ right here. So we got short at 130. So where were we at 130? So right here, this is short, 19,980. 19,980. It's at 19.2. So right now we're 65 handles in the money. And I was actually just bidding 68.75 right down here into this support. Let's see if we can get filled down there. That'd be nice if we could. We'll see if we can, though. Huge trades here this afternoon, including that market maker, that market move there. That market move on the TQs. We're going to wait for Boeing. And we did cover our Nvidia, which appears to be, again, good decision by the chef one more time as that comes out at VWAP and then continues to make a lower move here. That's still up 3%. I mean, I still really like Nvidia, but not too bad there, not too bad as we go. Yeah, daughter has, you guys have any activities? Daughter has hockey, dude has chess tonight.
Well, tonight, tonight's actually, my parents are picking up my daughter and she's spending time with grandparents because I got my physio. So I'm home a little bit later, and my wife is she's out of town all week. So
okay, that's good.
She's gonna get one of the best things, and I absolutely love the fact that I live close to my parents because I grew up not really any grandparents in the fold. Like my one living grandparent that was in our lives lived in Antigua, which was so far away. So like I just never got to see her, and I always wanted my kids in the future to be able to be close to their grandparents and see them anytime they want to. So my parents always have lots. They spoil her so much, which I'm perfectly fine with because that's what's cool. I just looked at this Sagiment chart. You weren't here yesterday for this utter nonsense. But there was this, completely random, this SGMT was pointed out to us and someone asked what is happening on this stock. And it was just, even Sharif was talking about it during the midday. From 10:45 to 2 o'clock, it basically had an iceberg order holding at the same price, and then it was like an easy breakout, then hold. It went like 340 to 360, like a very, very clean move. Just look at where this curled into this morning. Like that same level that we were talking about, that 340, it closed at 340. It then broke out in the morning, then dipped right into 340, and look at Sagiment now go all the way into like $4.20. You can't even make it up. It's actually at 420. That's a little bit weird, but there it is. So sometimes it was a random stock, didn't even know the reason for it, but just an obvious level. You come right back to it, and it's even better than yesterday. Very similar to Clover. Gonna have to find out what is actually going on with this, why it continued to go up as it did. Oh, shout out, we got another super chat here. David, appreciate you, David, with all the super chats. I know every single day in the afternoon show, also in the aftermarket show, we appreciate you. RT, so much wrong with the costume idea, but just checked the spot price of, oh my goodness. Of course it's down. Nobody wants that. There's a really funny clip of one of the Chappelle Show guys with making jokes about baby oil, but we'll keep the Diddy out of it. You want Intel to go up? A lot of people want Intel to go up. Intel doesn't want to go up. That's the problem. And I'll show you the good news for Intel is it's respecting the 50-period moving average. That's usually when a stock is respecting above the 50-period moving average, it's incredibly good news. The problem with Intel is the 50-period moving average is on such a huge downward slope that it respecting the 50-period means it's just slowly sliding down again. So every single day since that failed breakout above 24, it's just sliding further down while respecting the 50-period, which means it's kind of like a short into support. And the support is your 50-period on the day, which right now sits at like $22, and the low of the day is $22. So it's good that it's holding the 50-period, but that's much better on strong stocks where the 50-period is sloping to the upside as opposed to something here where it's going, unfortunately, in the other direction.
Yeah, Fabian knows what's good. Look, I mean, there it is, man. There's Boeing. We just shorted it. There's a nice move down. We're out of half of it already. It's only 25 cents, but hey, man, if Boeing keeps on going, then maybe we will have a break there. So 150.70 coming inbound right now. I mean, that's going to be a good trade. It's already 1-to-1. We've taken it. You can have it if you want. You can have whatever you like. And then the TQQs as well. We just took that out at 85 on that one. So we'll go a little bit diamond hands there and just cash it out. We're having another great afternoon. Just holding on, being short, being patient, waiting for the prices. When they come in, we get out. We have 10% left only now of the futures. We had 20% before. We take out another 10% as our next target gets hit. Next target, is here, 68.40. But if the market really comes in, then we can hold it and see about a closing print. But we've already got the low of the day today on the TQs. Literally the low. I think we have 68.40. I don't know what the low is, but this looks low to me right there on the day. So we already have the low in our account, so it's all good. We'll see if we can get it again and then probably reload it, to be honest with you. If we get back up here, there's only an hour, 45 minutes left. Minus that last 10, you got 35 left until we get the imbalances. But we're cruising, man, and we're doing quite nice. Let's check out Alibaba and check out some of the Chinese names here. As what else did we write down on here? We wrote Nvidia, SMR. Neil's in that right now. The TQQs. We can have a quick look at Mara now that I look at Bitcoin. Is that 60,000?
Oh, there's a point about SMR because when you mentioned, and I forgot, I knew I was forgetting something. When you mentioned that you liked SMR. And this is not as much. We have another one from Radar. I just want to quickly say, someone had said have a look at NNE, nano-nuclear as well.
Right.
In a similar space. So that's worth a look. It's actually a pretty good looking chart in addition to SMR. Radar again with another 200. Appreciate you. That is unfortunate. So obviously responding to David here with regards to baby oil prices, I would expect surging demand. No, you would not. Regardless, I think you can all expect me on very soon. That's what we like to hear. Till then, stay safe. Don't blow your account up. Late October will offer better trends. Shout out to the great advice. And I feel like that's confirmation that you want to make this happen. We all know when Halloween is, so end of the month. I'm expecting to see Raider here. I suggested in response to the first one that the Three Amigos is a pretty good trio. I'm a huge fan of that movie. It's an easy 3 costumes. I mean, you can probably find that easily on like Amazon or whatever. But I'm open to anything. We always like to have a little bit of fun around here. But the end of the year the end of the month is going to come rather rapidly. We're going to have to make a decision amongst ourselves because we always dress up as something, and the two of us have usually kept it. You know, we keep it pretty clean.
Yeah, we keep it pretty clean.
We keep pretty clean with our.
We can't dress up like this. Right here, hey, what's up, Luis? There from Barcelona, saying, "No way, you got tickets? WTF? Really?
He's a fan.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Of course, yeah, he's a fan. He's a fan. They're doing shows in Wembley, and they're only doing, I think it's Los Angeles, Mexico City, Toronto, and Chicago, and I think East Rutherford." And then MetLife, and then that is a wrap, man. And they're actually starting their North American tour to the show I'm going to. That night, so August 24th. So that should be a lot of fun. Going to Oasis, my wife really likes them as well, so that should be a lot of fun. I will not be taking Andrew Rader to that. Let's make a move down here. Unless you super chats another couple grand. Even though, don't do that. I still won't take you. All right, we'll get to the downside there. Still trying to break a little bit lower. TQ's going downside. Thank you, Andrew, for all of that there in the chat. But let's try to find some more names. All right, so I want to look at Mara. We did talk about Bitcoin. We could look at BTC in a second, but we never got to that level. So, you know, if no trade, stay away, basically. We wrote down 1550. It's actually, okay, good. I was going to say, because I know I put that order in to break it, and then it didn't break. So I was like, I think I still have it pending. But I shouldn't. I'd be very, very irresponsible, as I have not been at my desk a few times today. Anyways, it comes up here to 1550. That's yesterday. So these were the levels that we were looking to break there on some strength in BTC. But as you can see, still trying to hold out. Great bottom pick there. Again, we can look at a little bit of a longer time frame, just a 20-minute chart to see. Yeah, I mean, good support down here for Mara. So we'll see if there can be some trades on that one tomorrow. Make sure you get, or I mean, I guess it could still break today. If it still breaks 1550.
There's still some time.
Yeah, I mean, what is...
it's 3:15.
Yeah, it's 3:15. I'm not too worried about the timing. It's just more about what is happening over here. Okay, so Bitcoin's not really doing... Well, it could break a little bit here. Let me just go over to a 1-minute chart just to see what else it looks like. So pretty strong. I know the colors aren't great on here. I'm going to have to maybe change this. I don't know how I make these darker. But anyways, breaking through 60,800. 61 seems to be a problem. We got to there about midday, actually 7 a.m. Eastern time. We got to 61,000. Then we fell all the way to 59.8. What? Okay, so a little bit of a move down there. That might have been on that number Sharif was talking about this morning, as he was saying that he thought that Bitcoin was moving off of that. That looks to be the case, as that was an 8:30 move. Yeah, so or 9 o'clock move down there as U.S. equity starts to open up. So Bitcoin right now kind of trapped. So yeah, Mara probably not moving around.
But you know what? Sometimes I feel like you got to put that. It's a trap. No, I feel like you got to put those opportunities in like the back pocket, because then the next day, like you like the level, it breaks the next day, you make sure you take it the next day. That's the, I mean, obviously we talk about Tesla for that, right? Like 250 is the biggest example of that. I'm not happy with myself for it, but hey, if it breaks tomorrow, same trade, a lot of times when it consolidates off it, the breakout can be even better. I did exit SMR, and I did want to go over that one just very quickly. I'm going to get to Ari Page's question. So SMR off of that 11, it was about 1150 that it dipped into. It held it at support. It's gliding higher. It put in this bottoming tail candle in there, and then a bit of a rejection. So I'm like, okay, well that's, to me, you should start to hold that level. So I threw in a trailing stop. I was going to hold for a little bit higher, but I threw in the trailing stop. It was going sideways anyways. So it essentially gives you like a 20-cent move. Even if you get the top end of that, it's a 25-cent move. Considering SMR has a $2 range, I don't know. Yeah, about a $2 range on the day, I think, from top to absolute bottom. This is what it's doing in the afternoon, that entire time. Like, it was the first thing we got into when we got back on the show. It dipped back into that price 5 minutes later, and then that's the move that you get. Ari Pages asked us how many siblings we have. I have 2 older brothers. I have a half-brother who lives in the States and my older brother that lives out in Halifax. So just a couple of siblings are for myself. I am the youngest. But the question Ari was asking us how many siblings we have and if we have any brothers and sisters. So that was all.
I'm going to spin 11,000 points.
Uh-oh. I haven't won.
See what we can do.
Dude,
11,000.
Stream Deck has been jacking the... nobody's winning anymore.
Oh, what? I got... damn it,
I can't remember the last time I saw Streamlabs pay somebody out. I'm just saying.
It took me like 6 months to get 11,000 points. I just lost them all.
Watch, I'm gonna win too because I don't know how many points I have. I should check first.
Point.
Well, it's too late.
Exclamation mark. I know exactly. Exclamation mark points.
Yeah. Well, I've already spun.
Okay, yeah. So you've already spun.
Glenn Smith said he hasn't won in 3 months.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, you lost again. In your face. I'm going to spin one more time here again. I'm going to spin 4K right now.
But now everyone's going to ask their points.
I might lose. No, I don't think I can, because it's like, Sean, you're a degenerate. You might not be allowed.
I have 100,000 points. Oh, I should have spun way bigger.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had that many points. How do I have the 100,000 points?
I believe our points, me and you are being funded somehow. Okay, so that's why I was like, I'm going to.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Damn. Damn. Okay, so. All right, what time is it? It's 3:21. Is the show almost over? No, we're just get ready. We have the recap show, myself and Miss Danielle Shea coming through as we wait for more. Apple TV scores biggest streaming movie in history. What was that? Oh, is that? What is this?
If there's something we should keep an eye on for the close.
What was the big movie that Apple had? George Clooney, Brad Pitt. What is this movie?
I added that to my list. Is it terrible?
What is it?
I literally added it to my watch list yesterday, Brennan. Brennan always does
What's it called?
I forget the name.
You just added it yesterday, you said.
Yeah, because I just saw the 2 stars and I was watching something else. I'm like, I just added it. It was Brad Pitt and George Clooney. I'm like, whatever, I'll just add it. And then, because I was watching, I was watching Slow Horses, that's a great show, by the way.
I never heard of it.
Slow Horses is a really good show. So I was watching that. I went to go start the episode. Just saw their 2 faces. Hit add to list. Wolves? Okay, it's called Wolves. I don't know.
Wolves. Yeah.
But if you haven't seen Slow Horses, that show is jokes, man. Gary Oldman. It's basically like their MI5, but there's like this one crew that they're all the rejects. Like the MI5 rejects.
Is this Apple?
Is Apple TV.
Okay, so
and they're all like basically for all different reasons, they've all screwed up or pissed the wrong person off, and they get stuck in something called Slough House, and then it's just like they go on missions.
How to get out of there?
Yeah, like it's funny, but also a pretty decent.
It's like a comedy? No,
it's not. Like it is funny.
Okay.
But it's also a serious spy thing, and while being funny at the same time.
Okay.
And Gary Oldman's legit. Like the guy.
I'm down with that.
He's legit. I don't know any of the other actors in it, but except for him.
All right, so it's a good thing that we only have that 10% left as we get out of that, 10% left of the Qs and of Boeing. We actually have half left. So we only got out of half down here. We did pretty good to doing that. I've switched my stop now to 11 break. So if we break the 50 period, the 200 period now, let's just get out. I mean, the market is retracing back up. We took advantage of that move downside, but we might not wind up making anything on it if it does creep all the way back up. I think we'll still be, now I've done the math, we will still be up, but it won't be, I mean, we could have just cleared it all out there, but how do you know? You don't. So you hold, you get out of half, and you wait to see if there is any forward movement on that, and it doesn't appear to be anything there at all. I don't necessarily...
Oh, just very quick on the Imbalance locator, I wanted to point something out because...
go ahead, yeah.
We always do the early looks, usually at about 3:30, but I kind of gave it a glance and found this on the top of the early look for the imbalances, CRGY for like 5 million shares to the sell side, when the stock has only done 8.4 million. it's supposed to be an addition to the S&P 600. So it's actually supposed to be like a rather large buy, and it's looking like a sell. And then I don't see anything on Under Armour. So Under Armour might just be out of nowhere. Early look, 1.3 million to the buy side. How much volume has Under Armour done today? About 6.5. So what's interesting about this, there's nothing paired off on either of those two, but this one, it's supposed to be an upweight to the S&P 600. So the fact that it's a sell, not really that interested. But Under Armour, 1.3 million, that's a decent size imbalance, and it's already starting to bounce a little bit here. We're going to keep eyes on Under Armour. About a fifth of today's volume on an early look imbalance for this. So I feel like maybe we can get like a VWAP bounce. Might try to play along in Under Armour as long as this stays. Like I'll keep eyeballs on it. Obviously, if it pairs off, there's nothing good about the long if this doesn't actually come out at 350 as a buy.
We we reloaded, but we're not reloaded that much. But we'll still hit the animation because why not? We have an animation. So I'm not. I said that we would probably reload this if it got to VWAP. The market's been pretty slow right now. We just got to the 50-period moving average, and I just want to try to put something on. So we took an 06 fill right there. So my average price is going to show 20s, but we were short from up here, but I'm just trying to make more money. So, ain't nothing wrong with doing that. So if we can get a bid right here, then we will do that. We're bidding 96s right now. So if we can just take like a quick little move back into this support and then maybe break lower there. If we can just scalp out like 10 handles real quick, we might as well just do that, right? I mean, here we go. We took it at the 50 period, which is 44s. Yeah, and so right now it's down to 39. So it's a quick 5 handle move. Back to the downside right there, but not enough. We're going to have to wait. I'm going to give it basically to 20s, the 200 period. If it breaks above that, then we'll get out of here. We'll just get out, and that's it. And it'll be a good trade at the end of the day. Did we get that 96? Oh, no. We're just putting 10 handles in our pocket like it's like $200 from Raider Trader, you know what I mean? Like it's coming in, we're putting it, and then that's it. So there it is, man. Another move right there for the TQQ. So we'll get out another piece right there, just cementing the fact that this will be a nice positive name for me here today, and hopefully it is for you guys as well. Trading the futures has been something that's sort of changed the way I trade, especially in the afternoon. It's been really a successful sort of addition to what we've been doing. So I'm bidding another bid. Yeah, that's about right. Down here, I'm going to change it. I was at 75. I think we might as well just take an 82 fill if we can get that on Boeing. So let me put another bid there. We'll sit on like the New York Stock Exchange. That's the primary listing here for marketplace for Boeing, listed on the NYSE. So if you can sit here, you see every level, NYB, New York book. So there's liquidity at these levels. There's also liquidities on NASDAQ, which is NSB, and it looks like EdgeX, but not a whole heck of a lot more than those right now. So that's what we're looking at here into the close. Hopefully some exciting stuff will come through, but I don't know. This might not work. We already talked about where our stop is. We're just playing with sort of light shares right now. We just scalped out something, so now we can just sort of sit back, relax. There's our last fill, 69.06, so that's where we're short right now. It's not going to look like a huge trade because it's not. If we can get a bid down here at 80, let's do that again. And then if we can get a fallback into the close, let's do that. So it's 3:30. It's been a really, really good opportunity today to thank Raheem we had on earlier. I think that was awesome. He talked a lot about gold and some different names there. And we had Armand, his kid. Was it his 4th birthday or 3rd birthday? I should have. I think he said he was on the show.
I think he's 3
years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, man, time just flies anyways. And that's
because it was. Well, because we started.
I guess he's too small. Yeah, he's definitely not 4.
I can never forget when we started because we essentially came to YouTube at the start of COVID. So it's easy to remember that we came to YouTube in early 2020.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm not that good with remembering like birthdays and ages. Like I'm not going to pretend that it's so easy for us to remember that. But I wanted to. There was a really simple question someone asked me in the chat just now. Is Joby doing what Clover is? No. This is Joby. This
Palantir, that hot.
is okay, now of course it's on the NASDAQ. No, this is Clover. So, and I understand I know where you're going with this, but yeah, you have like a bull flag set up on one, gap up, going sideways, and not breaking the high. Joby is doing the other. Of course, they're on one's NASDAQ, one's New York. No, it's like literally the opposite. I understand like it's barcoding and doing a bear flag on the day. So in a sense, you're kind of right, but the difference is like Clover is day 2 going to the upside with a bull flag. Joby is day 2 going downside with a bear flag. So I would say they're not doing the same thing. That said, it is worth a look here. I just got into Nike. I'll get to Nike in a second. It's trying to bounce off of prior support at $5.50.
What are we
on
even
Joby?
doing?
But we're short. I just got short Nike. We also reloaded Intel. So both those headed down into the downside. Again, just going short at the obvious resistance levels. And Nike was a new one in here that we were short it before, but now we're going right back over to the same boat.
All right, 25 handles right there. We just took it. I mean, the TQs fell right. I mean, look, you can't get fill if you don't have the fill, if you don't have the bid. So right there, look at this, man. I don't know. Class was in the afternoon. It might be in again. Thanks you to Raider Trader. There's another piece there on the futures. Let's just keep on watching and seeing what's going on. We did get stopped out of our Boeing, as we indicated, and we still are up on Boeing, but not obviously as much as we were before. So basically, 25 cents there, lose 20 cents there, and at the end of the day, still be up on it. We'll take it, but we wish it would have fallen in a little bit more, but we just are now the future's trying to go even lower here. Good out for us there. We got 77s, 79s, sorry, or maybe it was 80s. Let me just give you the answer quickly. 79. So we got 79s there. We just went over there, punched it, got out. Now it's coming back in here. It's the futures. It was a great trade. Let's see if it can continue the rest here into the close. It's 3:30 and it's a Dara.
One more time here, we're going to take a look at some of these outsized moves in the S&P 500 to the upside and the downside. I always like to take a look at some different names that we haven't discussed yet. We're going to kick things off here with Constellation Energy. This one, in addition to moving higher with a lot of these energy and utilities related names, as we have the situation going on here in the Middle East. Also, if they're here, this one got a price target increase from RBC Capital. It got its sector perform rating maintained, but price target risen here from 214 to 272. So good look for this one. Next up, we have a Constellation Brands, so a bit of a Constellation theme here. We have Constellation Brands posting an earnings beat, but actually trading lower, saying that they actually expect sequentially lower second half of the year, H2 operating margins. So STZ here, actually, or sorry, STZ trading a bit lower despite an earnings beat across the board. And last but not least, we have Tractor Supply Co. TSCO. This one actually near low of days here, getting a downgrade from Evercore ISI. So they did maintain a $300 price target.
Looking chart.
What the hair?
Not a good look at all. But look, we're already headed to the downside. I want to shout out and thank you to Rolling Records with another $5 super chat in there. Hey, Rolling Records, we've seen you before. Glad to see you back again. Appreciate the knowledge. Hundy P, we appreciate you so much. And, you know, I want to give a big shout out. I love that trade in the future. I know. Oh, you're going to go to Palantir. That's fine. Palantir back at the highs of the day.
Yeah.
No, there was also the other stock I wanted to talk about was yesterday, and it wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. And you'll probably remember. It's easy to remember when a stock makes a level like a 666, but NEO pulled into 666, and usually if this happens, and I have a support line, you'll do something like hit that, draw it in there when you have that obvious of a level, like NEO making that bottom. Like today, remember $7 on NEO? This thing tagged $6.99 and then went right into that 666 level, pretty much like an absolute dime. Now the problem here you're going to see is it's a flat bottom break on NEO. It's 3:30. It's a little bit late for taking a breakdown on Chinese ADR because they don't move in the afternoon. But if this loses that 666, I think you're going to see some further downside on NEO tomorrow. So I've marked it off. It's kind of an over-under. The bad news is Chinese names have a habit of gapping away from the prices that you like. But what you can do is try to remember when they get back there, there's still possibly a trade for you. Because this gapped away from that level, you forget about it, and then there's the bounce right there for you that you could have had. So unfortunately, there was no shot for me today. But you got to keep those levels in your mind even when you gap away from them.
We got long at 03 here on the break of Palantir. Look, Palantir, I mean, I was waiting for Neil to finish. We were going to go long, and we are long, so you can get long with me right now if you want to. It went up to 07s there. Look, this break right here of the past 52-week high was great. That was 38.20s. We talked about this. That was actually 38.13s or something like that we wound up getting. We actually talked about this break. We really liked it. And it was the past 52-week high break right there. So we took that trade. It was obviously a great one. And we're looking to make some more trades now off of those levels. So we're back in it. Let's see if it wants to work out for us. Palantir, long again right now. I'm going to give it to the 250 period. Right there it is. It's not all-time highs, but it's pretty close to that right now. 38.80, I feel like, is a decent spot if we're going to get out. We don't have to hold this all forever. I'm offering 07s. It looks like it went up as high as 09 there, but I'm going to wait until a pullback, maybe into 38.80. Try to give it about 20 cents. Pretty light amount of shares here as we, again, we're fine with the position, but not really moving, long at 39.03. But Palantir is going to be my P&L number 2. P&L number 1 today is Nvidia. I mean, how can't it be, really? All these longs are absolutely fantastic. The TQQs has been fine, but we really did smash this Palantir. So we hit that. It's going to be a good trade. We're back into it, into the long Palantir. It's clear skies. There's nothing upside. So we could zoom back and then, but we've already talked about this. If you do this move, the problem is you're kind of running into... let it load up. There was, like, back in meme crazy days, because Palantir was just, and I've been buying this name, so I first got involved at the direct list. So it wasn't a converted like DWAC was there, SPAC. They direct listed this name. They didn't need that initial sort of capital flow to come through there, as it was a older company, a lot of insiders already in that. They just wanted to bring the name public. But you know what, actually? So here it is right here. So this is just the craziness when it was shorted because it was a new name, started at $9. We took our primary position there. We've been reloading it. But I just wanted to check this out because I didn't even look at this before. This is why I'm talking about the high doesn't really matter. It's $45. But we did have something up here. That's 39. So, I mean, we're all the way back here now. So, yeah, I mean, maybe is some sort of resistance up here possibly for Palantir to come back in. And maybe if I just zoom it back, yeah, I can't really do it anymore. Yeah, it's going to lose. I guess I can call up a weekly. But anyways, $39 on Palantir. We're right back there right now. So we'll take this long. We're only going to hold it to 38.80. If we break that, let's get out. Let's try it here. Smaller shares, but late day move coming on Palantir. We did take one more fill. We talked about where we'd get out of this if it breaks. We still have 20s, so we'll give it up there if it breaks higher on that 200 period. So we'll kick another reload here in the NASDAQ, but that was a good out, right? I mean, okay. So we'll take that, and now we'll wait to see if we can get another lower bid here on the NASDAQ. I feel like we're playing with fire a little bit, taking all these fills.
Yeah, same range as before. I mean, just sticking with range bound, I'm going to do the same thing over on Nike. But we got another super chat in here. They just keep coming on through. David, once again here. Anyone see the correlation between CEG and USO? Is Canadian Baker better than what we get here in the States at McDonald's? I don't know. I don't remember the last time I actually had bacon at McDonald's in the United States, so I really can't say that. I can tell you that bacon is delicious here, but it's delicious everywhere. So not really sure about that, but I can tell you it is an obvious correlation happening. So these are both 3-minute charts. What I would say the difference is we had that really big spike at the open on USO. But in the general sense, like, there has been a bit of a correlation, but more strength in USO, like bigger move off the open, bigger move off of VWAP. So there's a slight correlation today. On a higher time frame, you're going to have a pretty solid general correlation. I don't think it's in like really tight to 1-to-1 or anything like that. I'd hate to put a number on it. That would be almost ridiculous. But yeah, there's a slight correlation there. USO has been a little bit stronger on some of the geopolitical news. We're essentially just scalping a few things in here. And then, you know what? I'm going to go to Clover and cancel. I'm going to cancel the breakout on Clover. I keep typing in. I don't know why I keep thinking Clover is on the New York, on the NASDAQ. But it's not going. It might just break this high tomorrow. But the way this is, I've had this in for the entirety of pretty much the entirety of the show to take out the high of the day on Clover. And in that entire time, it has had a 4 or 5 cent range. So you could just be scalping it off of that high if you're so inclined, but the break on Clover is going to have to wait. If I see it start to go in the next like 5 minutes or so, I have a level 2 up. It's making a break on the daily, which was at $3.90. It's just that next push over $4.03, the high of the day, that we're looking to capture. And unfortunately, if it doesn't break at some point, you got to move on. We'd love to have that take out the top like Palantir did, but Clover, strong couple of days here for it. Just no late push here for that. What up, Airy Pages? Hope all is good there. Michael Benitez says, you guys got a second chance to get in. There's always sometimes there's a second chance to get in. Depends on what you're talking about, though.
All right. Yeah, there's always going to be something happening with all of these markets. I'm waiting for Palantir to do something. It's 3:38. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Do all of that. I mean, share the program with everybody you can as well. We do have, and the reason why I'm talking about this is we do have the imbalance locator here that we like to show you guys every single day. At 350, it's going to populate. And like right now, I don't see Palantir on here or anything like that. So not too worried. But, you know, this could come like, it comes like a 2 million buy or a 2 million sell. Definitely you're going to get some movement in the stock. So, you know, I'd like to see this sort of resolve itself before that happens. We already have our sort of our stop down here. If we do get stopped out, I'm going to change it now to 38.84 as we follow the 50-period moving average up right now. But yeah, we're going to take something out at the top just because it's not moving. And then again, because we're long at O's, we're giving about 15, 16, 17 cents to the downside right now. Obviously, we'd like to see a lot more of a bid come through right now. 39.10 or so would be great, but we need that bump up. So we'll wait on it for now. Our TQQQ trade, so we have like, basically it's a small position, maybe 20% or something like that. I'm not in love with this. The market could move back up. We've already made too many bottoms down here, and there goes Palantir. So good. So we got to fill there on Palantir. All right, it's not going anywhere. I guess we just got to fill and it came back down. So right there, we'll just have to watch out. But the NASDAQ is at the 200-period moving average. So normally this would be a kill zone for us with not much volume happening right now and really nothing happening. This could be something where we just sort of tap out on, which is fine. We're short at 08s. Like we sneeze and just get out of this and it doesn't even affect anything. So we'll hold on. We'll give this a little bit of room to the upside. No more averaging in. If this breaks 69.21s, then we're out. And that was the 50-period or the 200-period moving average. We're there now. Give it a little bit of room, and we'll see if it can work. So all good on that one. I don't know, Lasmel. I have not looked at Meta yet.
I was about to have a look at it because I hadn't. Yeah, we got to reload. I'm pretty much out of all of Nike and the last of Intel before the 350. Essentially, you just have a 20-cent range at the bottom here. There was a big volume candle. I had the level 2 up for this volume candle on Nike, and I can tell you most of that was dark pool stuff. Like, this is not, you know, like it's not really moving is indicative of this is the biggest candle in the entire day. No, a lot of that went off in the dark. It's pretty obvious to see when you have level 2 up that it wasn't that big of an event, but it's bouncing off that 82 level. So you're getting 82.20 to 82 without a break of the low on Nike, which so Nike's finding some support after earnings. Meta is absolutely on a tear.
Wow.
So $582 now, 1.6% to the upside. This sucker is, I mean, it's another, did it break? No, it didn't actually make another all-time. Is this?
Yes, it did. It's all time.
Well, I don't know. So this wick is at 930. Maybe you can confirm.
No, East Signal has it at 583.04.
Yeah, this one. That's because this is right. 583.04 is correct. So it's about $1 away from another all-time high. Now the thing about a strong stock is that you blink and it's going to be making all-time highs every other day in an upward trend. So we're going to be a broken record probably in this uptrend in Meta. Every other day is an all-time high. It breaks it one day, pulls back, and then consolidates, breaks it the next day and pulls back, consolidates, and then, you know, just it's taking a day off. So tomorrow, it probably doesn't make an all-time high. Then on Monday, it does make an all-time high. But what you are getting is a very gentle uptrend on Meta, which has yet to go parabolic. Like the next parabolic move, at some point, you get a long enough consolidation, and it's going to do something extreme. So love what Meta is doing. I trimmed some, whatever. Like I had, it's weird. Like I don't, Meta's actually a stock that I own in my TFSA and not in my my RSP, like our longer term. I have it in my shorter term one, so I actually trade in and out of it a little bit. And I did take some out, which of course is usual when you take it out at the highs, the usual. A week later, it's higher.
I know.
Every time.
It doesn't matter what the stock is. Okay, so there it is right now. We'll drop down a little bit more cash as the TQs comes down and fills us at the 50-period moving average. So that was O's again. So again, you got to be there to get the fill. And it's so many times this happens to me where it's like, okay, then the fill comes through and we're happy to grab it. So we'll do that one more time here on the TQQs, and maybe we can get it again. I'm still bidding down here though, 85. So we got to actually 95 is where I'm at right now. So we'll see if we get another dip buy opportunity there. All right, Palantir. You're at 08 right now, so that's been the high. We're actually been to 13s before. 13s is where I'm offering right now. Let's just take a little bit out as it comes up through here. Take out some 07.5. We actually got a half print right there, so we're fine doing that. And now we can see where we go with Palantir. Still, my offer's at 13. If we can get that break, that would be pretty nice. We talked about Constellation. Are any of the weed names moving around? I mean,
even Tesla's not
X,
moving.
I guess, could be something there. Up 2%, so that's nothing. So that should be the same for MSOS. Should be relatively more muted. Yeah, 1.5%. So nothing happening in the marijuana space. I mean, we just had the vice presidential debate. I was out and I didn't get to see any of it, but
Caught some highlights.
didn't see. I didn't really catch. People were saying that Vance looked pretty good, but I don't. It depends on who you listen to. I have no idea. So, okay, I think the odds are still about 50-50. All right, MSOS not doing anything right there. We'll still watch out for those futures and for Palantir. Boeing was so Boeing was a trade that we are in and out. Depending on where you got it, you're maybe still in. So Boeing right now, just here waiting to see what it wants to do. Trying to go higher, I guess, but for now, Boeing hanging out at 51 flat. We were short right here. We took profit, then we didn't. That's Boeing. Back and forth a little bit, relatively uneventful for me today on Boeing. I wish it was a little bit better trade there, but it wasn't. So that's Boeing and what we're dealing with. So yeah, all right, TQ's downside. We just get another fill. Oh boy, we did it again. That time we get a 95. That's just 20 handles. Where's the candy? It's like before when you're rebate trading, it's like 5 cents drops out of the sky right there. This is handles now getting dropped out of the sky, and we just keep on doing it on the TQQ. So just keep on adding to it, man. We found our comfort zone here into the close. I don't know where the glasses are, man. We found our calling into the close, trading the futures, just trying to scalp, making smart moves, and going through on that one as well. Okay, so Dell, thanks for the super chat. I'm seeing that right now from SP Williams, saying that Mike Dell, again,
Michael
founder,
Dell.
holder, yeah, exactly. Sold 10 million shares. Yeah, I mean, or $10 million worth, I guess, not 10 million shares. I hope not 10.
No way.
I hope not 10 million.
No, he didn't sell 10 million shares. No way.
No, I don't think 10 million shares, but I mean, maybe that's how many he had. Who knows? That would be quite the 10 million times $100. I mean, okay, we'll see. Maybe if that is what he sold. I'm not sure. We'll get clarification on that one. All right, Adair has it. Yeah.
So this is what happened here with regards to the Dell situation. We did have Michael Dell selling $1.2 billion worth of the company's shares. That is exactly 10 million shares. Average price here of $122.40 per share. So again, like just over $1.2 billion here in this sale. So now his current holding in the company is almost 17 million shares, 16.9 million shares here. So Michael Dell holding quite a significant amount of the company's shares, even after selling 10 million for just over 10 million shares for just over 1.2 bill, guys.
A Billy.
So he sold that now, and he still has $2 billion worth holding it. So just in Dell stock alone before today, this guy had over $3 billion in Dell stock. Okay, right
Who's
there.
the best Michael now?
Yeah, let me guess. Some analysts upgrade a little bit here and there. You make a little bit of cash. But no, there it goes, man. Dell, not that much reaction to that kind of a sell. But
122.
Yeah,
Was it? Did I hear 122?
Yeah, I mean the high was 127.
So the usual thought is, if you're done that big of a sell, if it's 1.2 billion, that's like a third. You tend to make the presumption that, okay, you're probably done. And that can relieve some pressure because Dell was on an upward. Remember when Dell was on an upward trend? I'm like, why didn't it continue? Well, there was this topping tail on the weekly, and you've got an upward trend on the weekly chart as well. Like, look at the uptrend, breaking the downtrend on the that it already had. The other side of that coin, let me just pop the daily chart up here very quickly. I was going to talk about MAR, but now we're going to talk about Dell. The daily chart, look at the bounce. Like it's bouncing off the 200 period moving average on the daily. Oh, that's good. I kind of think Dell turns into a bit of a long opportunity after that. And good look. Shout out, that's a great look because I think oftentimes we don't look at this stock and every now and then it's a pretty solid trade. Maybe today and right now it's 348. I basically have trails on both of those, like just small ranges on both. But Dell, I don't think it's a today thing, but I think looking into the long, as it's holding that 50-period moving average, maybe a trend long back into that 25 can be in play. I don't know if it's breaking out the top or just breaking out over under 115. Looks pretty juicy for tomorrow if we can get that. I do like this notion that if you sold that many shares, I was surprised. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're done, and that's been any kind of pressure on the stock, to get it down from the 120 to here, I'm down with that on a return to the upside. Catching a bit of a bid here. So let's look at Dell for maybe a 115 over. I'm just going to write it down on the off chance that I like it. It'll probably gap to 120 overnight because it never really works the way you want to overnight.
All right, so out there on the last piece of our TQQ trade, we talked about not reloading it, so we don't do that at all, but there it goes out. So we'll take some profit out of some profit right there. But look what's happening right now to Palantir. So again, like there's the break of 39. Here we go. So we like this trade. It is going upside now. This is going to be P&L number. This could be P&L number 1 by the time this trade is over with. Like this is running now out of control. There's the buy. We bought 39s. Here it goes, man. This is again a pretty well taken trade right here for Palantir. Like sometimes we talk about like putting on professional trades. I heard that from Joe the other day when he was talking about some of the trades, and I think that's really key that you continue to sort of like make sure you make the right plays, be conservative with them, but when something breaks, we were a little bit the other day, remember, and it was a big, oh, here goes 350 is now. The imbalances are out now. And I was going to say last time.
Apple to buy.
Apple to buy, okay. Last time we did not take Google because it was close to the imbalances and the thing just ripped the rest of the day. But here you go, Apple to buy. It doesn't look like it's a major imbalance. There goes Apple. Huge move to the upside right now, but has nothing to do with the imbalance. No. That move had already happened, but another 40 cents upside, straight up pressure now happening. And boy, oh boy, the pressure bust pipes because right now we are starting to make some new moves up for Palantir. Let's just get it out, man. We'll get some more out. I had no idea that sort of time caught me off guard there for sure. So Apple, nice upside move. I have no idea what CRGY is. Intel downside move here as well for Intel on the imbalance, but not a huge one. Oh, there it is. Nvidia. So Nvidia, nice move higher as well. Hey man, maybe Palantir will get going. We are offering 19s. We've been there since we sort of took this trade. But again, nice trading there today on Palantir. It's no wonder it's such a high stock today. No wrong trades. In, out. Like this in right here, 38.20. Those outs, 38.90s right there before we turned around. So well taken, I think, anyways. Palantir continues to make some more higher moves. We'll start to get some out here as we get ready for the close.
Yeah, with only 8 minutes to go, I can tell you Nike has put all the pressure on 82 without breaking.
Boom.
So we're shorting every pop to get a break of the 82 level, and 82 was held like a stone wall the entire afternoon. You've basically had a descending wedge into this level for 2 hours, and it is held on a dime. There was one break right after we came on the show. At 2 o'clock, back on the show, I should say, because we were here in the morning. But 82 is holding on Nike. I think this is going to be constructive to look at tomorrow. You always give it a couple of shakes after earnings, but this is now a higher low on Nike. So yesterday it made an 81.70 bottom. Now you're holding support here at $82 even. I don't know if you're going to get the next step, which would be breaking out the top, but one step at a time. That was the imbalance locator one you said you didn't know. CRGY. This is the one that was going out of, I have to double check. It was like the S&P 600 it was supposed to be. So
okay, so there is some action.
Yeah, there is an action, but it's mostly paired. Under Armour ended up, it was supposed to come out as a big buy. It came out as absolutely nothing. So it's really just Apple and Intel. And Intel did not move whatsoever. I got out of that. It did not make a move. Stayed inside of the range. So not a heck of a lot going on the imbalances. I know we didn't talk too much about Tesla in the afternoon. Tesla didn't do much, but it just broke 240 to the upside and then right back underneath. Looked like it was about to go. Big volume spike at 350 on the imbalances and right back under. Tesla down 3.75% and really never getting it going today. It was just a bad second day for Tesla. 250 was a good level, but should have had that short, didn't have it. I mean, that's the big miss for me. There was regardless of how the day ends, I will not be happy with myself over missing the 250 short. Best one yesterday. 3 times you could have had that. I know we had like 4 or 5 times actually. I just tried one long. One long. Should have had it short like 7 times today, or I mean, at least a couple.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, if this breaks back down below 39, we're out. So we have about a third left of, oops, that's TLT. I want to bring this up because Andrew was also talking about this TLT downside right here. Looks like it will close at its low. Just real quickly here, Palantir. So I'm going to put an offer out to get out if it breaks through 39. So let's just cancel because we're not going to hold it through, right? So 38.99, we'll put a stop order in right there and get out. If that happens, and it's a good trade regardless, hopefully, anyways, it makes that move upside even higher. We just got some more out at 12s. Our best out is 16s. We'll wait for 19s on that one to get out. Yeah, I know whether or not it's a double top or triple top on the Qs. I can't hold this. Someone in the chat, John, what's up, John? We can't do anything into the after market. So I have the recap show, nor would I really hold this. There's really no reason to hold anything overnight. I don't really. All the trades I put on here are planned to get out like around 350 into the close. So for me right now on this trade, we'll just sit on our hands and wait to see if it does anything and chart it for tomorrow. So right now, the triple Qs is not on my radar. Yeah, there's really not much that I'm looking at right now.
Nvidia's Nvidia's growing a little bit from small buy to slightly bigger buy. So that's about it, like 1.5 million. That's not enough to get excited. And well, it doesn't even matter now. There's like 10 seconds left till 355. So usually at 355, you're going to get a bit of a pairing event. So whether Nvidia tries to go here, oftentimes whatever imbalance is there at 350 or slightly after, when 355 hits, you're going to get a big pairing event. And there you go. Like Nvidia was just there for 1.5 million shares. It was growing, and now it's absolutely gone. So no more imbalance there. That CRGY, as we mentioned, there is an index action. Just Ford left of any interest at 1.2 million to buy. But on Ford, irrelevant. Ford don't move. You need to have at least 10, maybe 15 million, probably 10 million shares for Ford to kind of take out a top.
Ozan, I don't know if you're here. Look, man, today, and I'll trade different than Neil, than Joseph, than Sharif and everything. We've only traded 5 names today. You know, it's been pretty simple stuff. The Qs, Palantir, Nvidia, SMR. It's been pretty good so far here today. And look at Palantir. Make the money, know where your bread is buttered, right? Up on the TQs. We're down on SMR. We've talked about that. Down on SMR. Really, really up on Palantir. Nvidia, you know, my number one trade today as well. Oh, the name I forgot that we actually traded to was Boeing. So unfortunately, Boeing is a flat trade. That's why it's barely even showing up on here. But Palantir is a good one. Boeing, Nvidia, SMR in the futures. So 4 equity names plus TQQs. That's it, man. And yeah, really been working out for us as we just sit here and be focused on these trades and no others. And yeah, if things set up, take them. It's just, you know, make sure that you are focused obviously on what you're doing and go from there. So I think that's what we've been doing and it's been working out. So there goes Palantir right back up to the highs again. I'm waiting at 24s. We could just offer something here at 22. There we go. There's so much liquidity, you just get taken out. So we offer 22s right away out on that one now, as we now have less than 10% left of this trade and probably just looking to get out now right here into the close. So that's what we're doing. Palantir upside already realized. Took the break at 39, still wants to go higher. I'll take it if it goes, but for right now, more outs coming. I mean, if we were waiting at 24, that'd be pretty cool if we could get that. But after that, that's it. So we're doing it. Good trade to end the day. Smooth move up. We talked about TQs, took profit, then didn't. So we get a pretty flat trade there. We did not want to go reshorting on that one. Pretty good out on Nvidia. Now it's flat on that trade, so that's something else that we are working on. And other than that, that's it. SMR, worst trade of the day for me. Nice move to the downside. Nice move back into the $12 for SMR.
It got to 12?
Yeah, back to 12.
I just heard like a kid voice as guys watching a video. For a second there, I thought Armand was back, and I'm like, no, that's way too young for him. Oh, SMR does eventually go. So it actually ramps off the level that we got out on. So SMR, it's a dog. It is what it is. I thought this was a parabolic mover, but you know what? Just because it didn't go today, you still have a double top and you've got higher low support, right? So it never actually broke down underneath its support level. It gave a wick underneath and then held that 11.4, kind of went station to station. And if it can make another push the next couple days, don't forget that it's still got this breakout above 13 there. And the good thing about the move, and part of the reason why it's appealing, is like there's a clean shot to that 16 level. Like I always like that when you get that for like a small cap or like sometimes a penny stock as well. We have a consolidation and you can look up top and there's room for it to go even higher. I love that. But it just didn't happen today. The late move went further than I expected. That 11.50 gave you more than just that 20 pennies. It gave you that 50, but congratulations anybody that had that. Tesla apparently is now actually flying. So it was pulling back last I checked. That's still SMR for some reason. But Tesla now at 241. That's a big level. Remember, 241 was the bottom in yesterday's flush. So that 250 initial move bottomed at 241. Retaking 241 would be a pretty good thing for the close here, but it's running into that prior resistance. Less than 1 minute to the close. And Nicholas, I mean, technically anybody can have access to the imbalances, but that's because you have to get it through your broker. Like almost any broker, if they have live market data, then your broker has access to the imbalances. Whether or not they're passing it to you at a fee, I can just tell you we have it at Real Trading. But I mean, if you have the ability to see live level 1 quotes, then your broker can get it to you. It's just a matter of do they have a separate charge? It's built into our platform on Real Trading. We're more than happy to let you know, hey, this has an imbalance, this doesn't. You ask me a question about it, we will. But the closing bell, which is brought to you by Firefly Neurosciences, revolutionizing brain health in 3, 2, and 1. In the new mallet, ring it, Adara. Well, I completely forgot that there was a new mallet because quite often the mallet would get broken pretty much every single time someone would ring that bell. Now, when we got that bell, the mallet is just as old. The old one that kept on breaking was just as old as the bell itself. So rest in peace to the old one. And sometimes you got to go out with the old and in with the new. I saw that it was red. Maybe we should have a green one because we like it when the markets go up a little bit better than when they go down. But that's neither here nor there. The market's pretty much flat on the day. The NASDAQ very, very slightly down. I'm just watching Tesla here in the aftermarket. The NASDAQ's dead flat, just down 0.08%. And the ES just a little bit worse than that to the downside. But the real story in terms of movement, I mean, it's going to be Tesla for 2 days in a row. Down 3 points today. Not a very good look. There was some strength overall. You did have some moves up in energy that were pretty solid. You're going to have USO. There we go. You're going to have USO closing at the highs, right? So another pretty good day for energy. Closing actually just a little bit off those highs. Want to give a big shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s, making us look and sound good. And to Andre, who is, every time I look over and turn my head, Andre has his headphones on and he cannot be distracted. We got some content. He's making some new content for us. We filmed some stuff today you guys are going to be able to enjoy. Big shout out, of course. Before we get out of here, let me just thank the midday because another fantastic job by Joe and Sharif. And happy birthday, early birthday to Joe, and happy birthday to Satay, who's doing a great job as well. Adara on the desk, killing it with the news. Big shout out to both Raheem and Andrew Rader, our guests. And we have one more super chat to get to. Up 31% on Dell Long since the news was dropped. New high score, making a new high score. Shout out to you. Enjoy it in good health as always. But you know the best part about it? I left the best part. It's not over yet. It might be 4 o'clock. The market might be closed, but you still have the market recap. And make sure you soak it on in because we've already had a couple of fantastic guests today. But this is the last time you're going to get a chance to see our good friend Danielle Shea live with us for good reasons because she's going to be welcoming someone to her family. And that's absolutely amazing. But get your questions in if you have them for Danielle because she's a fantastic guest. Talk a little options with her. You can go over some earnings names with her as well. Always gracious. But like we do around here, we try to keep that ball rolling. And the aftermarket always begins by heading us to the desk with my main man, Sean. And special guest today, Danielle Shea. Go get him.
Yes, I just thought we were muted. Hey, welcome to the Market Recap Show, everybody. We do have Danielle Shea coming for the last time. Should be a very, very fun one until, I know, not forever. I'm still trying to log in over here to show you guys some of my last trades, but we don't have the right client version over here. Isn't that pretty crazy? Okay, so right now today, let's go over what we talked about with the market recap show. Thank you to Adara for preparing some of these notes for us today on what was going on in the market. But what an interesting day anyways. We can talk about it. I wanted to show you my trades on Palantir and everything. It's too bad. We'll have to have better preparation for me next time. I had to come over here earlier and get that going. 480, nice little downside move there for the SPY, for the Qs. Ending the day flat, right? Only down now 0.03 now on the NASDAQ. So we'll be able to see if there's anything happening on that tomorrow. I mean, not much news today. We had Apple moving around. We had some Tesla moving around. Semiconductors today, they were sort of what was hot with Nvidia. We talked about that CHIPS Act. We talked about Jensen talking more and more opportunities to implement some of these chips into the real world. So good one there. Enacted legislation to fast-track CHIPS Act as well from the government. We talked about that with Joe Biden this morning. That came out. And then, of course, the talk about Israel and more of that with Iran and everything sort of sent some of the markets in a tailspin early. Nice little recovery, ending in and around flat. I don't know. I think the market wants to go up, but there's just too much tension right now in the market. And as you could see, USO, the only up sectors that we actually have today look to be USO, XOP, XLE. I mean, these are all energy names. That's why we looked at marijuana later on in the day. Nothing happening there, but only up 2%. Not bad. No real headlines there as they look to legalize that. And again, I guess it just depends on how the wind blows. I mean, I think the Democrats maybe keep everything status quo. Maybe there's a change in some marijuana legislation as we get ready to go, if there is a change at the top. But again, probably a mixed house anyways, right? SMH up 0.92. So one of the only things working today would be sort of those high tech names. We had Meta breaking out higher. We just talked about that at the end of the day as well. Get this chair out of here. Normally I get out of your chair. That might have been too loud. Look at the Meta chart, man, really breaking higher. I don't know what's really behind this. Advertising continues to be strong. We had the Meta Connect Day. That was absolutely hot fire as well. That continues to make new highs. Meta. I love the stock. I haven't sold any of this recently. I think we keep on that same sort of spot. I mean, unlike everything else, look where this name's going, right? Nice move to the upside. Not much short interest. There's never going to be on this name, I wouldn't think. 1.48%. Still keeps going October 30th, so we get spooky with it, and we wait to see Meta earnings. 585, still going higher on that. Look how much different it looks than Google. You know, other names breaking out highs. Now Google is now above the 50-period moving average. We said we really like this name if that were to happen. Google trying to do it. Another name that's down near some lows, MSFT. Right here, Microsoft. Look at this, down at the 200-period moving average. We talk about that all the time. What you want to do is buy names that are at the 200-period moving average. It looks like Microsoft is there as well. So that could be a name to buy. Microsoft at the 200-period moving average. Danielle loves talking Microsoft. Maybe we'll do that with her. Look at this shadow situation. It's worse. Okay, we got it. Ramin's telling me that, don't worry, you look so handsome. Thank you, Ramin, I appreciate that. Nice move back in there, 414, 415 coming for Microsoft. So what was bad today? We did have Rahim Alani come on today, talked about everything gold, talked about some metals. He even talked about Dr. Copper. So right here, copper today, if you liked what Rahim was talking about, rewind to 8:45, roughly when he was on. He'll talk to you all about some names. He talked about FCX, Report McMahon. He talked about Barrick Gold as well. So today, if you like that sort of thing, look at this. You get a little bit of a haircut today, down 4% on copper. Could be something to look at there. China names, taking a little breather, right? At KWeb, down 3% today, back down into 36. FXI, the same kind of a move. Is that going to be sort of that star up here that shines bright? Will we get back above 35 and change? I can tell you one thing, man. If China tomorrow is up and we're near that 35.50, we're going to break that high and we're going to go higher and higher on China. I like the long here on FXI. I really like it. Here's my play, though. It still hasn't happened yet. This is XBI. We like the biotechs. I know Shakib in the chat was talking about that. Maybe it's time to rotate out of some of these NASDAQ names and get into some bio names. He talked about PAC-B. And actually, I looked at PAC-B as well. Look at Pacific Biosciences right now. Earnings report coming November 4th. So we're still a ways away for that. But oh boy, are we trying to base out a little bit down here on Pac B, $1.24, $1.25. Let's buy some dips here, potentially off that bottom. Look at this breakout in Pacific Biosciences could be going. I mean, you did get some good movements up recently in Clover, right? So here we go, some tech names coming through. Clover in the healthcare space, tech name. What about Teladoc? Another name that could get going off the bottom here. I mean, these are just all speculative plays. You don't necessarily want to get a play that's not making any money, and I don't believe they are, minus $4.92 earnings per share, but Teladoc does have room to go back up to the upside, that is for sure. I pick my poison with XBI. There's other names too. I mean, you can get into Pfizer, you can get into Moderna if you want some more household names, but for me, ETF might be the way to go. Wow, I just look down here and it's like a whole bunch of like nastiness. There's not even that much green to talk about. We have bank earnings coming October the 11th. That should be interesting. So that's a week tomorrow. So next Friday we'll come through with earnings. We won't have any earnings tonight. We don't have anything tomorrow as it's Friday. So we'll wait to see if there's, no earnings. Yeah, no earnings. Ramin says Friday is Wingstop day. So maybe we'll have to do that. We want to thank Raider Trader. If Raider's watching and he gets 50 more bucks, how about that? Then we can get wings tomorrow with Wingstop. Neil definitely liking that. I mean, the man already super chatted 400, so you don't have to do that. We are in the chat. Wingstop, okay, WING. Let's see what's. Look at this, man. Yeah. When did we last buy it? We last bought it like a month or so ago down here. Nice upside move. So yeah, if you guys are long Wingstop, you will want us to talk about it tomorrow. We'll get some lemon pepper. We'll get some habanero. I know she likes the habanero over there. We'll get some of that going as well. But Wingstop, nice move up. You know what's been really moving around? We don't have to get any of this, but McDonald's is at all-time highs and still going higher. I mean, this just keeps on going higher. No, I mean, look, I like McDonald's. You just get the Big Mac. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. Big Mac fries, the Diet Coke, then you're laughing. That's what you get at McDonald's, and you don't even look back, and you're fine with it. Some people like the McNuggets. I mean, do whatever you want. Just don't go there too often. Nice move up there for, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It does matter. There's the 200 period on the weekly. Look at that. Wow. I mean, you're going to look for some value there on the weekly for these guys. What's Yum doing? All right. You a big fan there of KFC, Ramin? Not really. I like Popeyes. I think maybe a little bit better there. Mary Brown's is nice. You know what? If you're in Toronto and my guy comes through, Andrew Rader, we can go to Dave's Hot Chicken. That's Drake's spot. So we can go hit that up. That's not too far from here. Dave's Hot Chicken coming through. But Yum Brands here with chicken. All the talk coming up. Yum C, the Chinese. You know, let's see what Yum C is doing, actually. Whoa, there it is. Look at Yum C. So the next time China gets going as well, we got to go over to this one. Wow. Nice move. I mean, I know China just started this week, but nice bottom play there for Yum C. This is, of course, the Chinese wing of that. Uranium's a play that we've missed a little bit there. My worst trade of the day today, definitely SMR. The only one we're down on the day. We have to have one red stock on the day, and it's going to be SMR. I really like this. Unfortunately, I don't have my Twitter open, but I put this out. I really like this breakout today. I thought we had a chance to go. So I'm actually long in the own personal account today as well. I like this. I liked it better through 10. We missed that break. It actually gaps up that day up into 1050. Now continues to go. Again, small modular reactors here. We're talking about new scale power. So a name that was a relatively new IPO I think this is one that we had talked about with Michael Noss. And what we used to do is drop this anchor on the IPO. Anchor away. Anchor down here. There it is. So there's the IPO, and there is the break. There's $8. We were talking about trying to find some support down here for SMR, but now breaking higher. I just think for a play, if someone's going to get bought out, maybe they like the technology. Look at the market cap. I was looking at it earlier. It's just over $1 billion today. I mean, definitely in play for anybody looking to get involved. Cameco, also another play, but this is $21.7 billion. And again, I don't know the technology and where they are, but I just like all this talk. I think you want to be in some uranium plays as you move forward. XLE, I think, is a great long-term hold. Look what's going to happen here. Look at the coiling up here of XLE. Energy about to boom, man, if it hasn't already. I like this break. Breaking of $98. Great little look there. XOM's had its little run as well. Look at this. this on the daily chart. Where's my guy Randy at right now? XOM. Oh boy, that's looking good at that top of a break there. As some of these oil names getting more efficient, as AI comes through, oil names becoming more and more efficient. And again, the use of technology plus some of the tensions hitting oil looks to be primed for a move up. Gold today. I should look at some of these notes actually that we talked about. Okay, so we will get to talk about Tesla. That was a big move to the downside today. We'll check out HKD in a minute. I mean, besides all the gold around Ramin's neck there, yeah, exactly. Nice move up there. Boom. Gold right now. You might want to melt some of that down. It is going higher and higher and higher. GLW. I got to see. So when I got engaged, I bought my wife and myself platinum rings. I got to check. Maybe I should have just done with gold, man, and stuck with that because this is going higher. What is that? What is the look on platinum right here? We'll have to check that out. Maybe I'll go to xe.com. I actually don't know. The platinum, if there is a platinum ETF or anything like that, we can definitely check it out. But let's check out Tesla. So Tesla on the weekly, pretty stuck, right? Tesla's been pretty sideways since basically summer of 23. We're back to those levels again. This is where we were June of 23, 240. Where we are today, 240. There's been many other opportunities other than Tesla to be sitting in. But the thing is, great trading opportunities, bottoms and tops for Tesla. I mean, look at this down here at 170 up to 260. Let's go back over to a daily chart. I know Danielle, when she comes on, she knows all about trading Tesla, and it has been pretty sideways for a while. But what I've said cautiously here, live on the show many times, the last time we bought it, we feel pretty lucky. We were able to get long in and around here, 170. I think it was 178. All right, probably on a hold of the 50-period moving average. We talked to all our guests about Tesla. So I think a lot of us thought if it held here, we did have some upside. But you can't just play low breaks and support. You also have to get out and realize that until you put some money in your pocket, the trade's not over with. So like Tesla right now, if you didn't cash something out over the last couple of days, you may want to just either hold on tight, and we'll get Danielle's opinion on this, because October 10th, again, a week today actually, is the robotaxi event. Someone else reports October 10th. Adara, who is it? Tesla? No, they don't report. Someone else reports, because I remember we talked about October 10th being important, and it was like, it was something else. Adara, well, it's okay, don't worry about it. There's something else coming on October 10th. Anyways, there goes Tesla to the downside again today. Nice move. HKD has always been a big runner here on the show. And look at this today again, gapping $4 to 5 and change. What did it do though today? People are asking. Let's just double check on HKD. Go into a 3-minute chart. See if we ended on the low or the high for the day HKD. So relatively flat mover there. And then, oh boy. Where's my Palantir hat, man? Today, this was such a clean trade. I was unable to log into the software over here. I'll get that fixed up right away after market. But at the end of the day, we had this 38 break. And at the end of the day, we had the 39 break. So we had both of these. They were absolutely great trades. Palantir, again, go over to the weekly chart. People are like, well, it's not at 52-week highs. No, it is at 52-week highs. It's just not at all-time highs. So there's Palantir. Here is the direct list down here at 920, and then we got meme crazy a little bit here when the short float was like 20-30% on Palantir. You could see right now people have gotten a lot smarter than that. They're not shorting Palantir anymore. It is now only 3% of that float is now short. What a base down there at $20. Smiley face right there created. Nice move down in for Palantir. Oh, it's CPI on October 10th. So there you go. Thank you so much to Lava and for everybody else in the chat. I'm glad you enjoy the show. I mean, this is what we're here to do every single day. And when we get ready to rock and roll, we're just setting up the screen share with Danielle. Then the show's going to get much better. All right, Berkshire right now. I just got out of some win, which is probably wrong. Win's probably absolutely ripping. Let me just flip this back over into a daily chart. Have a look at win. Yep. So we got out, actually we just got out a couple days ago, so probably 99, nice move up. I actually transferred out of this. So much business in Macau. We talked about the China flow. I don't know when this China sort of move up is going to derail, but it will derail at some point. So I rotated some money out of Win, not all of it, into Berkshire, grabbed some of that investment, insurance money that's coming through there. We talked about KIE, one of the insurance ETFs. And look at this name, how high we up are on this one. And again, Berkshire, I like that play heading into bank season. A little more safety net underneath there. Coca-Cola, they sold half their position in Apple as well. So sort of delevering. First time I've ever bought Berkshire was just a couple days ago. All right, Ramin, you tell me when we're ready. Wait, she says. Okay, oil still move higher. We're ready. It's Trader Talk. Danielle, I was just waiting until we got the okay because I wanted to bring you on, talk to you. It's your last appearance on the show for a while. I mean, we had sort of sad and mixed emotions about this. It's great to have you on, and it's also great that you're entering this new sort of phase. We wish you congratulations and best of luck on the birth. And we're excited to have you on today, though. For one last time, Danielle, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm surviving.
Good. Well, that's always good. First step to good health is survival. So that's a great one right there. Did you just hear what I was talking about with Tesla there? Anything you want to leave us with? Because we won't be talking for a bit. I just looked at the Tesla chart. It's been pretty sideways for a year and a half now, with ups and downs. There's no doubt about that. But we kind of land at the same spot. Anything exciting? We have the Roboth event coming October 10th. Maybe something in the options realm for you?
Well, when you look at Tesla, the monthly chart still looks like it could break out. And so for that reason, if I switch over to that chart and pull it up, it's one of those things where I keep looking at it and I keep waiting for a catalyst. And, last quarter's earnings report, the move going into earnings was a great catalyst. And I was thinking that, maybe this quarter we could continue running into this earnings report and break up above the high from last quarter using the catalyst of the delivery numbers, then also the robotaxi. But the problem with Tesla is that so often these events are buy the rumor, sell the news. And so it's kind of what happened with the deliveries number. We weren't able to get through the 265 price point. I don't know at this point if we're going to see a big move going into the earnings report. It is always something that I look for. And now that we've pulled back to the 21 EMA, 235, 240, it's a good support zone. I think there's still a chance that it holds and trades higher going into earnings. But kind of concerned because of the sell the news situation on this stock. But look at that monthly chart. The monthly chart looks great.
I know that's what we were trying. You can always, I feel like we can always find a chart that looks great or bad or whatever way we want. But Neil and I talked about that, and I was like, what is the catalyst for this thing to continue to go higher? I sort of thought maybe if they show like a cool app, similar something to Uber, that might get people excited. But we already know with Waymo that already exists with Google. So I'm not super excited about the event, but I just hope it goes off without a hitch and maybe we get a nice move higher on Tesla. Good. I like that break. I'm still long with you on Tesla. Microsoft's been disappointing for us, right? I feel like now pushing back down into the 200 period moving average. For you and I, we always talk about the 200 simple. It's there right now on the daily for Microsoft. Earnings, just double checking the date, Danielle, October 22nd. So I feel like we're in that zone now. You always talk about looking at options heading into earnings. So right now we're about 3 weeks away from this one. It's Microsoft down at the 200. I like it. The question is, do you?
So, the thing with Microsoft is that the weekly chart looks great. And I always like to buy more Microsoft down at the 200 simple on the daily chart too. So I did actually buy some more. If you look at it and you say, okay, let's take a look at this weekly chart. What does the setup look like? Look at this gorgeous pullback into the 50 simple. It bounced so nicely. It's consolidating. You have incoming volume. So, I did go ahead and buy more shares. I think that long term, it'll head up to 500, but I am concerned about this most recent earnings report because we do have some relative weakness with Microsoft. And here's the thing is that the 200 simple can be a great spot to buy it, but if it breaks, the thing is going to roll. So,
right.
One of those things where I like the stock, I trade it all the time. I can tell traders that I'm not going to be aggressive with it this quarter. And the main reason is because if you look at the last 2 quarters, you'll see that this stock actually did roll over going into earnings 2 quarters in a row. So it's kind of like, do I want to throw a bunch of money on it this time when it's right here? I'm going to do it in a cautious way. But if it breaks 415, you're probably going to 400. And if it breaks 400, then it's really toast. So that's why I'm focusing more on it for dollar cost averaging on a long-term basis versus really leveraging in the options market on a short-term basis.
Because this will be your last appearance for a minute, I just want, come over to my screen. I want to make sure everybody can make sure where they can follow you. I have your official account up right here. It's at Trader Danielle. So go make sure that we follow each other. So there it is, the best smile in the game, Trader Danielle, Danielle Shea here. So go find her, VP of Options at Simpler Trading at Trader Danielle. So go make sure that you find her in case you want to ask her any questions. I mean, Danielle is always available to answer some of those, I'm sure, but maybe not every day. We'll pay attention to that coming forward. Again, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs are 4-0. They're not looking the best, but they're still winning games. You know, Travis has been okay, not having his best year. We'll hope the more success coming for Kansas City very, very soon. You watching any baseball, or are you just, I know you're a Houston Astros fan.
Well, I'm originally from Kansas City, and the Royals have advanced.
Oh, the Royals,
and the Astros have not. So that's quite interesting.
Right. I was actually I retweeted something today. It's really funny because Major League Baseball right now, Kansas City, low payroll, right? Also, Detroit Tigers, low payroll. These teams are advancing and just wiping out teams that have literally 10 times the amount on their books. So, okay, let's keep going. One other name, a couple more names, and I'll pass it over to you if you had any other ideas. I think XLE looks like it wants to break out. Now, we've talked about some of these names here. This is a select sector energy fund. Right now on the daily, it looks like this. We've now broken out of this channel. And if I do a Danielle Shea weekly chart on this as well, man, we're getting close right now for some of these tensions that's been happening, in the Middle East, down over there as well with Israel, everything happening. What are you thinking about energy right now? We did have a nice breakout in uranium as well over the last couple days. Any thoughts? What do you like? Is it an ETF? Is there a name? Anything you're looking at?
So I was looking at this one pretty closely yesterday because our traders had the same question as well, and I couldn't really find an individual stock that looked great. But so that's why I think just sticking with XLE makes the most sense. You have some of those names in XLE that are much stronger, some that are still in a downward trend. And so typically when it's like that, I just want to stick with the ETF. Now, in this case, the weekly chart has really nice consolidation. It's starting to break out. You have incoming volume. You do have to be careful because it's something has a catalyst related to news, right? We have no idea what's going to happen with all that. But as far as XLE is concerned, I think you could trade it back up into 99. And then after that, we'd have to see if it breaks through that previous high. Because your upside target ultimately would be about 105. So for me personally with this one, I hate to call it another long-term hold, but that's kind of what it is for me, unless you want to trade options on XLE or just XLE itself.
I was trying to find the PE here because I have another interesting name for you, and that's going to be, I was going to look because they're still making some cash. That is going to be our friend SMCI. So if you come over here on the weekly chart, look how good this looks, Danielle. SMCI, again, we know that it just went 10 for 1, right? So a $400 name splits down into $40. And now, I have a feeling this is going to be like, I know it's not like a John Deere moment where I keep on missing it every time it comes down to 350, but this name, SMCI, looks like it might want to bounce. If we do have an opportunity to play more strength in some of these semis, this could be a name down here that gets interesting. Now, I know there's hit pieces out on this. There's some short seller reports. There's some whistleblower reports on this as well, on SMCI. Is this something that, to me, it looks good, but I'm going to tell you right now, Danielle, I'm hands off until we get just some more settlements here and figure out what's going on with the news. Do you ever trade names like that when you hear stories come out and you just look for the volatility, or maybe it gets too expensive on the option side?
Well, when there's a lot of volatility in a name, especially in the options market, you can sell premium and, that's an option for you.
Right.
With SMCI, there's so many people out there wanting to buy it, but I have to tell you, I would have to take the other side of the trade on this one, Sean. I think that the daily chart has just significantly broken down, and I feel like you're right. It is sitting on support. And if you wanted to look for a bounce, this would be a good spot. But
Yeah, it's too low. I mean, that $25 on the
I
daily.
think it's more likely it breaks. I don't know. We'll have to see how this one plays out, but I think I think it's more likely that rolls over.
Yeah, I don't own any SMCI. I mean, on the daily chart, yeah, it does look brutal. And I was just looking myself, 25 maybe, Danielle, is where we get to. We don't want to buy anything that's too far extended underneath the 200 period or the 50 period moving average. But maybe it does look cheap down here. I mean, remember Micron? I think you were on here when we talked about Micron too. That kind of looks something similar if you come over to the screen here on a daily, Danielle, which is why I call up SMCI, because look at the brutal break of the 50, the break of the 200, right? A retest and a fail right back into the past support. Everyone thought it was going to fail until it didn't. And then that was $85 all the way up to 113. But then, you know, a dead duck still can't fly and it's coming back into 99. Kind of just made that one up. Maybe that wasn't appropriate, but all the way back down into $99. Oh, by the way, Danielle, updates on turkeys, updates on any animals, any sort of wildlife happening there, anything in your backyard?
I wish. I don't have time for any of that right now. I'm just trying to get my house ready for the baby. And, you know, maybe if it's not too crazy with the baby, I'll look into some animals in the springtime.
Yeah. No. Last thing you need to worry about is that one. I just remember we had that fun talk last year where you had the turkey walking around looking for, well, how long have you been in your place? It's been about a year, hasn't it, your new place, or a little less?
It's been a year and the turkey hasn't come back in a while. I think he knows it's close to Thanksgiving, so I think he's in hiding.
Okay, maybe he's in hiding, or maybe he disappeared, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there it is. Okay, one last name, and then maybe if there have any ideas that you might have. I want to know for myself, this is pretty selfish, because I'm looking at this with rose-colored glasses. That's Palantir. So I've been buying this name forever. I really like the stock. I don't want to sell any of it. But to me, I mean, it's just so extended off of the 200. Looks like it still wants to go, but you know what? I mean, when we look at it, it's clean, it's upside, it keeps on going here. Maybe we don't sell our winners. I don't know. What is Palantir saying to you?
Well, let me see. I thought this one had short float.
No, not really. Three and a quarter.
Only 3 1/4 now?
Yeah.
Man, it used to have a lot more than that.
Yes.
It
got flushed out basically, Danielle. So Palantir, just to give you a little bit of a back and forth about Palantir, they're recently added to the S&P 500. They just hit their 6th consecutive EPS positive month, and Alex Karp, current CEO and founder, has said no more EPS misses moving forward. They should still remain positive. So there's a lot of traders that like this. I thought it was a good bump for S&P inclusion, but it just keeps on going higher here. A lot of defense contracts there as well. So big into the government. And of course, what's been happening, they're definitely catching some tailwinds here.
I mean, it's been hot. I like it. I mean, my problem is just that I wish that it had more short float, because typically if I'm going to buy something at the high like this, it's going to be because it has, short float. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you have it, I would still keep it personally. Right. I think that it's been doing amazing. You have a gorgeous trend ever since you shifted down here around $8.50. I don't feel like I could buy it here just because of how much it's already rallied and how many targets it's already made. But for everybody that's already in it, great job. I would just keep holding it and see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that ride off the weekly chart of the 50-period moving average is looking great. All right, was there any name that we didn't cover that maybe you want to talk about before we let you go, Danielle?
Right here, I like Meta and I like Netflix. I think that those two Magnificent Seven stocks are the ones that have the best relative strength right now. And, today the market was kind of lackluster, but you had Meta that was breaking out.
Oh, man, Meta's huge.
It's pretty close to the key psychological value of 600. And so that can really act as a magnet. It was up 1.74% today, especially with options expiration coming up. And then also earnings coming up. You really want to focus on these relative strength names that have been doing well with earnings. So I've been looking for Meta up into 600. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I don't think there's any reason for this name to stop. I mean, we like Meta. We've talked about the advertising game continues to be strong. Instagram, I mean, more daily active users than we can even imagine. It's almost almost like everyone that's born gets an Instagram account or something like that. Plus WhatsApp continues to move. I think they can monetize that at some point. I like Meta moving forward. Already broke all the key levels. Let's stay long on Meta. And I like Netflix. So yeah, I don't know. Content is king, and I think both of those have a lot of content. So Danielle, I just wanted one more time here. Maybe we could talk about your YouTube page if you can get that up. I'll show your X account right here. I want to make sure everyone goes and follows at TraderTV Danielle. Make sure you keep that going on your guys' accounts. Follow her. It's a great follow as well. And then Danielle, I don't know if you've been posting anything lately, but you do also have your YouTube page that I know is getting heated up.
Well, I was thinking about, I have a class that I put together, and I was going to try to record it before I have the baby and post it on my YouTube channel. So it was basically about how I started a stock account, and I've grown it pretty significantly over the last 5 years using my technical approach combined with a little bit of earnings and a little bit of kind of dollar cost averaging. So I have that, and I'm going to try to finish it before I have the baby and post it on YouTube. So if you want to follow and check that out. But other than that, I've kind of slowed down a bit here at the end. And, when the baby comes, I'll be posting pics and everything on X. So you can find that there. And then I'm sure I'll post when I'm on my way back, but I don't know when that will be just yet.
Great. Well, we'll definitely have a big announcement when you make your way back. But Danielle, best of luck with everything. And of course, keep us posted how it all goes. That's Danielle Shea, VP of Options at Simpler Trading. Thank you, Danielle, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Ciao. That's it. That's Trader Talk, and that's Danielle. We'll miss her for sure. And that's a great way to leave us, man. Netflix and Meta, some talk about Microsoft down there at the 200 period, as well as just buy XLE, baby. We like that one. And not really a fan of SMCI. Thank you again to everybody that joined us today. Oh, no, I actually logged out. Oh, no, we have to sign in again to make sure we get back to roll call. Oh, I just need to sign into chat. Okay. Yes, Ramin, I know, but we're not done. Ramin, stop it. I got this to hit. Oh my God, it's roll call. So we'll wrap it up right now. We got to get out of here. I don't know. Do I see, is Adam over there? Because we're going to go out for a quick drink, and then I got to get out of here. But right now, let's wrap this up. Thank you to the Piper. Thank you to Others Inc. Thank you to Lava. Thank you to One Brown Chick. Okay. Darwin here. Royal Dixon. Rich Naples. Bulls versus Bears, the best, man. Thank you so much to Christopher Holcomb. Bears versus Bulls. My bad. I'm new here. Andrew Chow, Mashworth, Michelle Meir, J-Mod, John Van Sowers, Mass Crusader, everybody that's here. Jeff says, okay, here we go. Right now, Donkey Trader as well. Alex, Alexa, Penguin Dynasty. If you're going to have a dynasty, have a Penguin one. There it is, man. Penguin is here. Jersey Sean says, bye, Sean, bye. Spell your name the wrong way, though, my guy. Right there. Kristen, Boot Burner, Bora Hout, and everybody. Hey, look, I'm not going anywhere besides out for a drink right now. I will see you tomorrow, though, at 8:30. Rise and shine. It's Friday. It's going to be a big day. It's an Nvidia type of day. It's a Tesla type of day. But more than anything, it's a Trader TV Live type of day. Thank you to Danielle and everybody who else is watching us as well now. Take it easy. Thanks for staying late, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.